Clardy Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
A very pleasant good morning and a happy Monday, and welcome into halftime. Phil Olson, Matt Jones, C-Unit Kristen Johnston producing on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Feeling well rested, Matt. I don't even know how that happens for crossover season with baseball and basketball, but I'm feeling good today. Feeling really good today. And you're looking good as well. How was your weekend?
Yeah, I don't just wake up and look like this. This is hard work. It was a great weekend, great sports weekend. Got to watch a lot of ball. Got to see some milestones. Caitlin Clark, LeBron James, both dominating. It was a good weekend.
Yeah, no doubt. How long does it take you to get ready in the morning? If it takes some work.
Oh yeah, no. I just wake up and look like this. This is how it goes.
40,000 for LeBron, big round number. You don't have the same conversation that you got with the Caitlin Clark thing, with Pete Maravich, and Maravich had the, freshman didn't play then, and so he got 3 years. What was his scoring average? Like 44 points a game? Clark's, I think, 28. I think we're always trying to, not all of us, and not always, but there's a certain section that just won't celebrate the record, and will just point to the reasons why somebody else would have set the record with the restrictions that that person had. But hey, it's an impressive mark that she set. Plus, doing it in a time where, when you are a successful athlete, there's just so much more of like a level of expectation nationally to be able to live up to that game after game, game after game. So I'm not here to point out anything that Maravich would have done this or that with a 3-point line or anything. It's an amazing accomplishment for Caitlin Clark in today's society to continue to play at this level on a game by game basis, when everybody's just expecting her to show up and throw up 35 points, and then she does exactly that just about every game. I find that an accomplishment in and of itself, kind of aside from the scoring record.
Well, she elevates her teammates. She didn't go to UConn. She doesn't play at South Carolina. I'm not saying her teammates aren't good, because she does have some quality teammates, but they're not the role player. They're not the talent on South Carolina's team. And so it makes it even that more impressive, Phil, because every single scouting report for the last 4 years, you know who the first name is at top? It's her. That's who you're trying to stop, and they hadn't been able to do it.
And so they've been looking for all sorts of ways, and maybe initially there might have been a way to guard her, but then it's like a hitter. It's like a batter in batting practice. They're going to find a way to get you out, and then you've got to find a way to close that hole that they saw. It's the same with a scorer like Caitlin Clark. She's just got too many ways to score, and she's too creative, and you're right. Yeah, the first thing they're trying to do is to slow her down, and it doesn't happen. Like with LeBron, I guess nobody would point to the three-pointers, because Kareem made one three-pointer in his entire career in the regular season. And he was second all-time. Karl Malone finished third in his career all-time in scoring. And he had the occasional three, but it wasn't really much of it. Would those guys have had to be three-point shooters in today's NBA, Matt?
Well, Kareem would still be Kareem. I don't know why, if you're Anthony Davis, if you're Wemby, if you're Karl Anthony Towns, any of these 7'1" guys, I don't understand why none of them do a hook shot. It's the most unstoppable, unblockable shot. And if you think about it, when Dirk, you go back and look at Dirk, that little fadeaway that he's kind of doing, it's kind of the same type of thing. You can't block it. So you're kind of doing that, and you're being under control. You're not being pushed under your spot. But the number one most unstoppable shot in the history of the NBA is Kareem's skyhook. That thing was that's, and nobody else even attempts to do it anymore, which is kind of weird. And I would think that some of these free throw shooters would do the Rick Barry as well. If you're shooting 60%, let's get up there and land it soft. Let's teach them a little bit on how to shoot.
Wonder nobody's going to be blocking a 3-point attempt by a guy who's 7'4" either, but I'm with you though. I've always wondered, And maybe the hook shot is just really, really difficult to perfect to where you feel comfortable to use it in a game. But like, I don't even remember seeing many other kinds of shots that Kareem took. So, well, that's more to get into as we go throughout the show today. Speaking of, players like Caitlin Clark, fans show up expecting to see greatness. Opponents try to scheme to slow her down or stop her, and it just doesn't happen. It's on a much different level, but Friday, fans are showing up at Bowen Walker to watch Hagen Smith because of the national headlines he got the week before, and you would have shown up to watch the Friday game anyway because it was so nice, and that's the best place to be. But he was just as good as anybody could have expected. And that's going to be a theme, I think, every Friday night. I don't even think just at Bowen Walker, but college fans that show up when Arkansas travels to A&M or goes to South Carolina or, our first road series at Auburn, they'll be showing up expecting to watch greatness, and he was just as good. Maybe not just as good, because he allowed a home run on the second pitch of the game, but then retired all but one batter over 6 innings, so he was close to being just as good. I'm just kind of amazed when people are as good as sometimes you expect them to be, because it's hard to live up to those sort of expectations, and it's hard to be that great of an athlete. He was outstanding. Basketball, I didn't get a chance to watch Arkansas Kentucky, Matt, because that was in the run up to Saturday's baseball game. I was down on the field for batting practice and talking with Dave Van Horn and getting everything set with the lineups, but seemed to be a pretty entertaining basketball game, and maybe I wouldn't have expected Arkansas to really have much of a shot, but man, they did have a shot in the last 10 minutes.
It was a very aesthetically pleasing game, especially the first half. I think there was 10 lead changes in the first 10 ties, 12 lead changes in the first 15 minutes. The competition level for the Hogs, they competed, no question about it. Kentucky was very vanilla. It was almost like when you're playing an inferior opponent, and it's like, we're just going to go out here and do our basic stuff because we know Cream's going to rise to the top, and that's what happened. They didn't really do any. I mean, they were very basic the entire game, and if you do that against the Hogs, dude, T. Mark and Khalif Battle, you can't. There's not two people that can guard those guys. One-on-one, you can't guard those guys. Well, and that's what they did. They played real simple and just ran up and down the court and let the cream rise to the top.
That's interesting the way to put it too, because it's 29 games in for both teams. There's scouting reports on every player, on both on Kentucky and how to try to slow them down. Nobody's really doing it right now. Do you have a sense that they just tried to play vanilla to put really nothing on tape for future opponents?
That's what Coach Cal does, though. That's the beauty of being Kentucky's coach. When you have the better athletes, eventually it should rise to the top, and that's what they did. They didn't do a whole lot of trapping on defense. They didn't mix it up a lot. They just kind of went out there and played basketball, and that's what I mean aesthetically pleasing. It was a fun game to watch because the athletes were just running up and down the court. It was almost like an open gym. And then I thought the officials tightened up. There was 3 technical fouls and stuff. I thought they tightened up in the second half and started calling calling the game a little tighter. But that was it, man. It was floor spacing, and it was running up and down the court. It was a good game to watch.
They did not seem very interested in D'ing up the Razorbacks very much. I mean, like Kentucky.
Nobody played defense.
Right.
I mean, both teams shot over 50%. Both teams just played man, trying to help, trying to do basic concepts on it. But it was like I said, you watch a game like that, you're like, yeah, that was fun to watch. And even though the Hogs were up 9 with 6 minutes to go, you kind of had a little hope there, but they turned it up. It was like you could see they flipped a switch, and that's what I mean. They flipped a switch. Kentucky did the last few minutes, put a little pressure, made Arkansas press a little bit, and that's what happened with South Carolina and Florida. Now I watched that game too. Florida was winning that entire game, just out athletic, up 6, up 8, up 7 the entire game, just doing whatever they wanted. And then South Carolina went to this 1-3-1 zone, and it's like the guards started hesitating. Turn the ball over 3 straight times, get fast break points, and the next thing you know, you're trying to scramble, trying to make threes. Now, they were shooting the 3 ball well, but that 1-3-1 zone kind of messed with them, and South Carolina got some stops and was able to win that game.
I just have a hard time believing that a college team scores 102 points and still loses the ball game. That's some old school Loyola Marymount stuff. Has this happened before in Arkansas history where you score 100 points and lose?
Well, this is the theme for this Arkansas team. We shoot 53%. The other team shoots 56%.
Yeah.
We get 28 rebounds. The other team gets 34 rebounds.
You go 27 of 28 of the foul line. They hit 34 free throws.
Whatever we do, we don't make the basketball plays. We're not good enough. When you get down to the SEC caliber athlete, we're not those top 6, those top 7 teams in the SEC this year. We don't match up with those guys.
Well, at least it was a good game, right? At least it was entertaining. I'm not going to use the word hope anymore, but one more home game left. Maybe there's a win to be had at Baum Walker when the Hogs host LSU on Wednesday. But on halftime on this Monday, we will be talking Razorback basketball with Matt Zimmerman from the Razorback broadcast crew and the Razorback Daily. Of course, you know him very well. Hour number 3 here on halftime. Mike Irwin from Pig Trail Nation will join us about an hour, kick around some of this basketball, baseball stuff. You got spring football practice starting Thursday morning. Coach Pittman is speaking this week, so certainly some stuff to get to with the football team. And baseball did have their first series sweep of the year. So we'll get into some baseball as we go throughout the first hour as well. Our text line is open, the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Lots to get to on this Monday. And we'll be back in just a moment.
Sweet 16. Eastman for the Elite Eight. Arkansas is going to the Elite Eight for the first time since 1995.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
With everyday low prices on top brands, locally owned Jaeger's Ace Hardware is committed to offering real service with real savings. Get these red-hot buys at any of our 4 locations. Ace 2-gallon home and garden sprayer, only $17.99 with your Ace Rewards card. Ace pleated furnace filters, buy 3, get 1 free. How about 40-pound wild bird food or 20-pound sunflower seed? Your choice, only $19.99. And ask about our clearance deals on power tools. Find more everyday low prices online at JaegersHardware.com.
Are you tired of the overcrowded fitness centers? Would you like a fitness option where you can actually work out? Then let's hang out. The Hangout is Fort Smith's newest fitness facility. It has an 8,000 square foot gym, indoor tennis, pickleball, and basketball with more sports coming soon. The Hangout offers group and individual training in the gym and boasts 3 active tennis pros to help you grow your game. Stop in today at 5400 Gary Street or thehangoutfs.com for more information. Be a part of something different. Fitness, sports, and more. Let's hang out.
We're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South C Road, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com. Dozy Place has now been serving award-winning steaks for over 20 years. Celebrate your special birthday, holiday, person, or just because at Dozy Place. Start with delicious appetizers and your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Dozy Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended, so call 784-9111. 784-9111 for Dozy Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
Subiaco and Scranton, if you made a resolution to get reliable internet for the new year, Wave Rural Connect can make that happen. The latest zone covering Subiaco and Scranton is now open. Make this New Year's resolution come true with internet, TV, and phone service from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or phone 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Husbands, sons, daughters, honor your wife or mother for Mother's Day at the inaugural Mystery at the Fort Legacy Ball, benefiting Heart to Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center on May 11th at the U.S. Marshals Museum. Buy your tickets today for this 1940s mystery dinner, coupled with an exciting night of investigative entertainment and lively dancing with the band Who Shot JR. For more information, call 479-452-2260.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
See, I'm riding. Kind of rope, see,
Player, give me some brew and I might just chill. But I'm the type that like to light another like Cypress Hill. I still do these spit loogies when I puff on it. I got some bucks on it, but it ain't enough on it. Go get the S-T-I-D-E-S. Nevertheless, I'm hella fresh, rolling like a cigarette. So pass it across the table like ping pong. I'm gone, beating my chest like King Kong. It's done, wrap my lips around the bogey. And when it comes to getting another stogie, bulls all kick in like Shinobi. Don't really ain't my homie to begin with. It's too many hits to be. Probably let my friend hit, bitch.
Find halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Probably heard the news already last night. I didn't see it till this morning that Chris Mortensen passed away at age 72. Of course, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, reporter in the history of the NFL. He'd be on one of those Mount Rushmores if you put it together. Got the connection, of course, to the Razorbacks with his son and lived in Fayetteville for, man, I guess it was the last 25 years of his life, close to it. And was an avowed Razorback baseball fan, longtime season ticket holder. I know he'll be missed at Baum. He was already missed on the TV airwaves after retirement. And it was sad news, Matt, to see that Chris Mortensen passed away Sunday morning.
Man, he was always good to me and my family. That's for sure. His son was a quarterback when I was up there. I reminded of something Coach Andy Reid said. He said, work hard and don't lie, and be an honest person. And I think that's what Chris Mortensen was. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, work hard. And he was very authentic. And like I said, man, I hadn't talked to him in years, but when I was up there and all that, man, he was nothing but good to me and my family.
You don't get those sort of sources unless you earn their trust numerous times. So I'm sure there was plenty that he was asked to hold on to that he did. That would have been very, very big news. So, I know we had him on the show a couple of times. He was really great to talk to, and again, that was very sad news. Some changes apparently coming across college football rules, Matt. I think last week we'd mentioned they're going to bring on a 2-minute warning. Now, this all has to be approved by the rules committee, but I would just assume it's going to happen. Because the 2-minute warning must be a request from the television networks. Has to be.
It's worth at least $100,000
per game.
So you add that up. It's I don't know what advertising is for regular season SEC games. In the Super Bowl, it's $7 million for 30 seconds. So let's go way down from there. But I bet it's $50,000 for a minute. Minimum. For a regular SEC game. So yeah, it's a lot of money.
One more time out that you can have in your pocket that you don't have to worry about calling. And I remember the NFL. I mean, look, the NFL has games that are routinely closer than college games. And look, I mean, I don't know how long the break is. It's probably something that'll last you 2.5 to 3 minutes. But that's extra 2.5 to 3 minutes of sitting around waiting for a 45-13 blowout, which routinely happens every weekend in college football many more times than it does in the NFL. I know there are more games, too, in college football, so that's got to have a little piece of it. We just lopped off. I guess it was, 2 to 3 plays per game last year with the rule change of the clock still moving on a first down until 2 minutes. So maybe this is just a reminder to the officials that, you know what, now we're going to stop the clock every first down after we get to 2 minutes. So it's actually a warning to the officials, not to the teams. What else? We got the in-helmet communication now. No more Connor Stallion situations. Tablets on the sidelines, which of course leads to a whole nother idea of, well, you can't steal signs from these big billboards that they're going to put, that they used to put up, and now it feels nostalgic. Last year, very nostalgic, when they would put up signs of Elmo and piano keys on the sideline, maybe a box of French fries or something like that. And you could decipher it based upon if you had somebody in the stands, apparently, taking photos or videos with an iPhone. Now you got the in-helmet communications. Now it's just a matter of jamming the signal. You know, everybody's going to want, you expect that you can kind of jam these signals or steal them. I doubt you can. But it's too bad this rule wasn't instituted last year. Wouldn't have had to go through the whole deal of Michigan and that sign stealing deal.
What if one team, let's say you're the Arkansas Razorbacks and you go down to Oxford and to play Ole Miss, and to think that people aren't going to jam signals or find a way to get this stuff is, we all know they're going to. But what if you go, because I'll tell you a story in high school. Now, I know technology's changed a lot, but you get in the high school boxes and booths, and they would all have their walkie-talkies talking down their headsets and stuff, and then you could find a way. You have somebody talented enough to find a way to get to switch over, and you can listen in on what they're saying. No question about it. So you're Arkansas. You go to Ole Miss, and let's say your headset stops working. Either you're Arkansas or Ole Miss, and
this has happened in the NFL.
Do both teams have to stop using it? That's what I'm asking you.
Well, I don't know. That's a good question, because that's what has to happen in the NFL. I would assume. Now they haven't passed this rule change yet. But I would assume that would be the caveat to the rule. We both get this, or none of us get this. You walk into any radio booth in a college football stadium. Heck, it's the same at the College World Series. It's anywhere where there's just a lot of radio frequencies that are being broadcast throughout the stadium for broadcast purposes. The crowd mics, the effects mics, the sideline reporters, all of that, those are radio frequencies coming through. You got to stick to a very specific radio frequency for any of the things that you're utilizing wireless communication for. So you could probably scan through the dial. I'm not sure if you would know what what frequency necessarily somebody's on, but you could certainly screw up a broadcast if you tried to and wanted to. And I'm sure there are some people in there that want to. And a 15-yard horse collar inside the tackle box, which I guess also counts for, you can grab a running back in the tackle box by that horse collar, not just for quarterbacks too. Matt, were you tackled by a horse collar before?
I don't know that anybody was fast enough to catch me. I don't know that I got
I was looking for.
I don't know that I got horse collared. To be honest with you, I can't think of one time. That's that hip tackle. That's the horse collar hip tackle. They're trying to prevent injury. That's the thing. You had a lot of guys getting injured.
Yeah, here that potentially the NFL may ban the hip drop.
Yeah, you're seeing guys get hurt doing that, which I don't know. You say everybody's getting softer, but the amount of money that they're putting into it, they're trying to. You don't want guys getting hurt, but it's kind of the nature of the game.
Well, those look to be the only rules that we're looking to change for college football next year. Just let everything around the sport change, which is exactly what's happening. Let's take a call from Brent, who's in Searcy, and then we'll break and get into some more stuff. Brent's on the McClarty Daniel hotline. Good morning, Brent. What's up?
Good morning, Phil.
Phil, I got some concerns right now.
Okay.
I got some real concerns about our. You're the voice of the Lady Razorbacks. I got real concerns about where our program's going.
Well, yesterday was not a pretty game, that's for sure. It's not been a good few weeks, and it's really not been a good SEC portion of the season.
Phil, our program under its current leadership is going nowhere fast.
Okay, is there anything else you want to add to that?
Yes, sir. Because if you had performed as Mike Neighbors has performed, there wouldn't be any need for you to go to the SEC tournament because you would be fired if you were doing as bad a job of coaching as he's doing. If you were doing as bad a job broadcasting, I'm just telling you. I don't care that they've had eight players. At least you can play hard. I haven't seen that bunch play hard in weeks.
I don't know I truthfully don't know what you're talking about as far as that's concerned, Brent, because I saw them diving after loose balls yesterday when they were down by 30. It's a short look, and it's not to make excuses because, you are responsible for the team that you put together, even if there are injuries and people transferring out and all that kind of stuff. But I've seen good effort. I just haven't seen good basketball. There's a difference between the two.
Can I ask you, this is a serious, did Samara Spencer, did she leave the team? Did she quit the team, or what's going on?
Samara Spencer is still there on the team. I'm not sure. You must be asking about Talia Scott. But I'll leave it there with you, Brent, because look, I don't know the situation with Talia, but if you want the leadership on the team to change, then you got valid complaints about things. I appreciate your call, Brent. Know who it is that's missed the last 4 games, because Samara Spencer's been out there for about 40 minutes a game during that stretch. Look, it's not pretty. There's no way to put it. Scored 11 points in the second half yesterday. At one point, missed 27 out of 28 shots. They're just getting beaten by better teams right now, and that's the only way that I can put it.
You always double on 11.
Would have been nice to put up even 22 points in the second half, but it still wouldn't have been even close to being enough. No, it's not in the right direction right now. 6-10 in the SEC is not good, not at all. You don't know the situation with Talia Scott, whether she returns or not this year, or why it is that she left, outside that it's a serious family emergency. And will things change? What I saw yesterday was a team that looked like they were completely out of gas, physically and emotionally. You can put that on the coach, and I get that, and I'm not here to tell you otherwise. But it is a team that's out of gas right now. We'll be back with more halftime in just a moment.
KC Insurance wants to remind everyone they are your local, trusted insurance agency for all your life and health insurance needs. They are located in the North Bell Shopping Center at 912 Highway 6265 North in Harrison. Feel free to drop by the office anytime, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., or call 870-517.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got trophies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite, white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. And remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video
in Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Fastest 40-yard ever in the combine ran over the weekend, Matt, by Xavier Worthy, former Texas Longhorn receiver. 4:21 in the 40. Huh? Moving.
That's electronic. That's
Are we supposed to be told what that is? What that equals in miles per hour?
A non-wind aided. Yeah.
Right. Non-wind aided. Indoors, even if someone's standing behind you blowing, they won't count that, will they? No.
That's Chris Johnson. Do you remember that? I'm trying to think where Chris Johnson went to college, but he went to he was with Lindell White at the Tennessee Titans. When they were kind of had their little run with Vince Young going on, but he was one of the fastest as far as running backs. I mean, that dude could. I think he ran a pretty good time.
Be a pretty big difference between what he ran and what Lindell White ran in the 40.
Well, Lindell White had to unhook the trailer, so that meant though. But if he got it going, he could at least go forward. But yeah, Lindell White was your power, but he was built in that Jerome Bettis mold. He was your power back, trying to do a little shifty, but if he wasn't going to have too many runs over 30 yards.
Kevin texted in about this on the McClarty Daniel hotline. That's 877-377-6963. I think I'd asked you this, but I can't remember all the details. You did run the 40 at the combine, right?
I did run the 40 at the combine. Yep. And the first person who called me after my 40 was Chris Mortensen.
What did you run?
4.37, I think, is what they clocked it at. But I don't know that they showed it or whatever. They don't tell you. You just have to hear from afterwards. Yeah.
I was reading briefly, and it was just the headline, but there's a movement against even caring about the 40-yard dash at the combine. Why do you think that is?
What the 40 does, what all this stuff does, it allows you to compete. You want to see guys get in there, and if you're not in the SEC, but you take all 50 receivers, and you get your height, you get your weight. It's like anything. You get your numbers, and then let's say we know who the first 3 guys are going to be taken. We know who the guys are, but once you get down to after the first 5 guys that are taken, well, I'm going to go look at the numbers a little bit. You're going to do the interview. Interviewing is just as good as your numbers. You want to go talk to the kid. You're going to talk to his receiver coach. You're going to talk to his high school coach. But if it gets down to it, and you're always looking for tiebreakers, that's the only people
that separates,
that talk bad about the combine are only people that never been in it. It's like I like to hear non-athletes tell me about the combine. It's like, have you ever done it? Have you ever been a part of it? You don't like, okay, get out of here then. But what it does is it helps you separate yourself. It's like, well, this cat ran a 4.39. We have him at about a 4th round grade, and we look at the other 4th round grades, and this cat ran a 4.59. Well, we're going to take the cat that ran a 4.39.
Is there anything that you do at the combine that shows, well, I guess it would be the arm length, the catch radius, because that's such an important aspect to play in that position.
They measure your hands. I don't know that they do wingspan like in basketball, but yeah, they measure everybody's hands. You want to see what everybody's hand size is.
Well, 877-377-6963 if you got any more questions about that. JT says he remembers Mort saying he asked general managers what they would do when Matt Jones measured 6'6" and ran a 4.38, and then you went and ran a 4.37. He says Mort was proud of you for that.
Well, Mort, that was the big thing. Whether it be that I'm 6'6", whether it for whatever reasons, and I think a lot of people, that's the other thing you do when you get to the combine. You ask people, well, how many times are you going to bench press? How many times are you going to, what's your vert going to be? What's this going? And then you tell them, and then they go see, well, how close were you? That's one thing I learned being a sophomore in high school, filling out questionnaires from colleges. And one of the questionnaires was, I was like, well, Dad, I'll run this by next summer. He goes, no, you put what you've done on there. And, you don't put like I was 6'4", whatever, and I was 6'3". Like, you put that you're 6'3", and you put your correct weight. Don't put what you think is going to be in 8 months. And so when you get there, you can do better. If you come to telling me, Phil, how good you are at things, like, hey, man, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and then you go do worse, so why don't you tell the truth and then try to do better? So that's the thing that you can measure at the combine.
Or tell them you're a little shorter than you really are.
Don't lie.
Underperform and over-deliver.
Yeah, well, but don't be a liar.
Well, that makes perfect sense. And so I guess it wasn't that Caleb Williams didn't throw at the draft, Drake May didn't throw at the draft, Jaden Daniels didn't throw at the draft. They don't need to.
That's right.
They just don't. I mean, it's like you're saying, you kind of have a sense of who's going to be in that
all
top
the
10.
other Sam Hartman needed to throw. He did a lot at the Senior Bowl. But JJ McCarthy, you would want to see him throw at the draft, because I'd be like, well, I watched this Penn State game and the coaching staff didn't even trust you to throw a pass in the second half. What you gotta figure out. You want to see, but I hear McCarthy's rising on the boards, which is it's kind of surprising. I'm not saying the kid's not talented in that, but you have to look at what he did and
He's never really asked to go out and win a game for Michigan.
The thing about Michigan is they reminded me of those Alabama teams a decade ago, and what Georgia. They were the biggest, baddest dudes out there. It didn't matter who the quarterback was. You could have put Michael Penn. You could have put any quarterback on those Final Four teams on Michigan team. Michigan was going to win the college championship.
But he's gonna throw. I mean, he's gonna show you. Do you think, and you went through that interview process too, did you have a sense that the people asking questions were like looking for lies? I mean, they're looking, if you talk about separators here, some of the separators would also be whether or not they catch you in a lie or feel that you're not telling the whole truth about something that's a pointed question. I mean, these are like psychology tests. It's like they're playing with your mind a little bit.
They try to work you up. They do. They're gonna mess with you, and they want to see how you react. You talk about mental health. They don't care about your mental health. They go make plays.
They're trying to ruin your mental health.
You drop a pass on 3rd and 8 or throw an interception. They're gonna call you every name in the book, and so that's why it's very important that it really is. It's an us against the world mentality. Don't worry about people that can't do it. Don't worry about the haters out there.
Just worry about what you got right around you.
That's right.
And those goofy questions that someone's asking.
And I love what Coach Andy Reid said. Be a hard worker and be honest. And now there's more to it than that, but those are the first two things. It's like, be an honest cat and work hard at your craft.
Take a phone call on the McClarty Daniel hotline in a moment. That's 877-377-6963. Halftime is live at the Crabtree RV Center studios right now at our ESPN Arkansas studios. You still get your sales tax paid on any new remaining model from 2023 that they have in stock at Crabtree RV. The selection becomes more limited every single day as new models from 2023 are pulled off the lot. Those people are getting their sales tax paid in full too. So don't be left behind if you're looking for a purchase of a new RV. All new remaining 2023 models in stock. You get your sales tax paid in full. But get out there today, Crabtree RV in Alma beside the Cracker Barrel, or online at crabtreerv.com. Cabbage Head is on the McClarty Daniel hotline. What's up, Cabbage Head?
Hey, Phil, I got a question for Matt, but did you ever find, you do such a good job with your bumper music, did you ever find that band I told you about in the 70s, Trapeze?
I know I've heard Trapeze before, but I did not go out and find them. But I'm going to guarantee I probably know a song or two of theirs.
Yeah. Oh, well, good. I figured you would remember. They came to Fort Smith twice from England, and they were real good. But of course, the bass player played for Deep Purple when Trapeze was over, and his name was Glenn Hughes. I don't remember. I don't know if you remember him, but he was, and he's still playing today. But I think the Mel Galley, the guitar player for Trapeze, I think he passed away, and then the drummer, I didn't keep up with him, but boy, they were real good. They had a couple of real good albums, but they never did get the top 10, as far as singles,
And I like the city that they came from in England. It's called Wolverhampton. That's you got to be a pretty heavy rocker to come from Wolverhampton.
That's Zeppelin's favorite soccer team. Your boy.
Jimmy. Now say that again. Say that again, Phil. I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
Wolverhampton, England. That's where Trapeze originated.
Well, I didn't know that. I learned something from you.
Well, what do you got for Matt?
That was good. Matt, I tell you, I told you this before, Matt, that I enjoyed so much in watching you play. I mean, I really, really did. And then when you went to the pros, I didn't understand some things, and they could throw that ball anywhere around you, and you would catch it. And now what does a rookie? What do they pay a rookie? I heard it was like $600,000 to pay a rookie to play. Is that way off, or is that right in there?
Most, I think 98. So the draft, it's all slotted, and most of it is your salary is going to be a standard that it goes up each year. That's why if you're in your 9th year, you're way more expensive than a first year player. So each year you get 10. It's like each year you're going up the stair. You make this much minimum. So yeah, your rookie contract is your base salary for a lot of those kids will be the minimum wage. But then you get your guaranteed money and your signing bonuses and your workout bonuses and stuff like that on that rookie deal.
What does that amount to? Like an average?
It's slotted. So let's say you're the 17th overall pick and you get $10 million. Well, that means the 16th overall pick is going to get a little more, and the 18th is going to get a little less.
I see. So maybe a guy, just a rookie, would his first year maybe get $600,000 to play.
Yeah, I want to say I don't know what the minimum wage is right now for NFL, but if you're on an opening day roster, it's around $500,000 every single player that's on the squad. Yeah, you're making that much. You're making at least a $500,000.
Shoot, I wish you could have hung in there for a little bit longer, man. But what you play? And did you play a couple of years in the pro?
I was able to fool him for a handful of years. I tricked. You can only trick him for so long.
Good. Well, now, if you, if you decided to go back in, could you have done that back then? And even though you didn't go with that team, but could you opt to go with someone else, or maybe now can you start working out and get back in?
It's got some Cabbage Head has some ideas for you, Matt.
It's a young man's game. No, I think you can only go through the draft one time. I don't think you can wait and go back through the draft.
I think of that, like if you were trying to get back in, it's good to hear from you, Cabbage Head. Thank you.
Like Terrell Owens, you see Terrell Owens, he went and ran a 4.5 like maybe 2 years ago, trying to do that. And that gets to the thing where he's been in the league 14 years. Well, his base is going to be 1.3. So why don't I take a rookie? I can pay him $450,000. You're already kind of behind it.
The rookie minimum right now is $750,000.
Way more than $500,000. That's right.
Pretty good. 1 year minimum $870,000, $940,000 after in your second year or 2 years in, and then you get over $1 million after 3 years.
So after every player that's played more than 3 years, your base is over. It's over $1 million. Yeah, to be on the roster. Yeah.
Stay with us. We'll close out the first hour in just a moment. 877-377-6963 for calls and texts on the McLarty Daniel hotline. Right back.
Whether you're fishing for cold water bass on Beaver Lake or Table Rock, or fishing for a trophy brown trout on the Mighty White River, the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue will catch them. It has that famous rolling action whether it's fished extremely slow or worked fast in heavy current. This rogue suspends, so it will stay in the strike zone longer, allowing you to catch more fish. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue.
Hey, I'm Hagen Smith. As an Arkansas pitcher, I know the importance of precision, skill, and keeping cool under pressure. That's why for your home, choosing the right team for heating and air is just as important. You want professionals who bring their best game. When it comes to staying comfortable, I rely on Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. They'll send pros to take care of your home, too. So sign up now for Pascal's Plan Protection membership before the summer heat for only $8.99 a month. Never pay for a tune-up again when they're included in your membership. Professional people, professional service. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
You will never find a boring old burger at Art's Barbecue and Burgers in Fort Smith. Try the Wild West Burger, topped with a hot link, jalapenos, and Art's hot sauce. The Brisket Burger, with tender brisket and caramelized onions on top of their hand-patted burger. Or the famous Art Attack, with house bacon, smoked ham, an onion ring, and a fried egg. There are 10 different burgers to choose from, and they're all $1 off every Saturday. Art's Barbecue Burgers and more. Rogers Avenue, next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Harrod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 4th Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their work.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, full deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
What's on your to-do list today? Does it include looking for a new piece of heavy equipment? If so, come by and see us at Sharp Equipment today and explore our latest offers and deals as a Wacker Newson dealer. Whatever your day brings, whatever job it is you need to complete, Wacker Newson Equipment is up to the task, and Sharp Equipment is here to help. Stop in Central Hydraulics and see us at Sharp Equipment, located at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith, or give us a call at 479-242-1406.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
Attention homeowners, storms are firing up quickly and widespread damage means thousands are reaching out for the right roofing company. Don't wait. Get on the schedule with Shamrock Roofing and Construction now for quality and peace of mind. One call does it all. Shamrock Roofing and Construction, call 479-319-5100. Need new roof? Shamrock Roofing and Construction can have you covered right now for as low as $139.99 with approved credit. For quality and peace of mind, one call does it all. Shamrock Roofing and Construction, call 479-319-5100.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. I was I tried to do the best I Your mind trying to find my way through the same old jam. Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios, Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
All right, I'm assuming that the fact that C-Unit is playing Good Times, Bad Times, that he might have done his halftime homework. Led Zeppelin was the assignment. How would you think?
Best album I've listened to. The first two were the best I've ever listened to in my life.
Did you hear that, Matt?
They just take you on a journey. I can't explain it.
Wait a minute. You're actually saying you think these are the best albums you've ever listened to in your entire life?
Yes.
There's a lot of people that will agree with you.
Yeah. It really is.
Matt, I'm very proud. I feel like I've actually accomplished. We might have actually accomplished something here.
They're pleasing to listen to. Like there's not one part that's like, just it's greatness the whole time. Like they're so like diverse but they're yet. I mean, I don't know. They're just real creative. You can tell just by listening to them.
He almost sounds like he's gonna like tear up talking about this.
Yeah.
Like did you? All right. So did you just listen once, or did you go over a couple times?
Just once.
It gets better with more.
But if I ever go on a long trip, I guarantee you I'm playing it. Like just putting the first two albums on, or first 3, 4, however many I get through.
Does C-Unit have tissues next to him, Matt? I think he might need them. Because now you got to listen to 3 and 4, and now you got to listen to the rest of them. We've actually broken through here, Matt.
Those are yeah, I mean, that's why the Zeppelin albums, you just take them one at a time. There's no reason to be in a hurry.
So we hit him with the Beatles. He liked the Beatles. We hit him with Tarantino movies. He liked Tarantino. I don't think he said any of those were the greatest movies he's ever seen. Roadhouse probably is still the best movie you've ever seen, now that you were introduced to Patrick Swayze movies. But this one really seems to hit home with you. So I think maybe you got to keep it with some more classic rock from around that same
It can't get any better, can it, than Led Zeppelin?
I mean, some people
would agree. Yeah.
Some people would throw Pink Floyd out there. So
yeah.
The Doors are pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Which direction you think we go for this next weekend? You wanted to do the Doors. I think that's a great idea.
You listen to Zeppelin, and then I have to wonder about you when you say you like Morgan Wallen. You know?
I don't.
Oh, okay. Oh.
I don't care. I don't care for him. I mean.
But Matt, I mean, I loved Pearl Jam in my teenage years, and
that's Ty.
Even to now, I wouldn't say to now because I haven't listened to an album of theirs in a long time. But I was kind of introduced to Zeppelin a little later. It would have been in my late teenage years, and I remember feeling the same way that he did. I thought to myself, why have I not listened to this up until now?
No, I didn't get into Zeppelin until my 20s, but yeah, no, I the 90s alt rock scene, I was just more into Smashing Pumpkins and Bush, so it's the same genre. Stone Temple Pilots, just never really got into Pearl Jam, but there's nothing wrong with Pearl Jam.
I think the Doors would be a great door to open into, which is why they were called the doors to begin with. Open the door of your mind.
I just think it needs to be a double feature. Listen to the first 2 albums, first 3 albums, and then watch Oliver Stone's The Doors, and watch Val Kilmer and Meg Ryan just dominate. Michael Madsen, another Quentin Tarantino guy that you like, that's in his movies. He's in that movie as well. But yeah, that's I'd watch Oliver Stone's The Doors if you're digging it.
Okay, so then the assignment for this weekend C Unit, as issued by Professor Matt Jones, is The Doors' self-titled debut album, and then Strange Days, which was the second album, and then Oliver Stone's The Doors, which might actually open up a whole new subset of movies, of Oliver Stone movies at some point.
Nice.
And then Morrison Hotel and L.A. Woman. After you watch the movie, you might want to listen to some more albums of The Doors.
And maybe listen to the Doors albums while looking at a picture of what Jim Morrison really looked like, because there are a lot of people, and they like Val Kilmer was great as Jim Morrison, but you've said it a few times, like in our minds, Val Kilmer's Jim Morrison was the real Jim Morrison for a lot of us.
Every kid that's under the age of 30 thinks Val Kilmer is Jim Morrison.
Maybe they're right. I don't know. Maybe they're actually right about that. 877-377-6963 for calls and texts on the McClarty Daniel hotline. We'll be talking with Mike Irwin from Pig Trail Nation in about 20 minutes, and we get into our second hour in just a moment.
Let's see. Leaky faucet Tuesday. Water flooding the yard. Better put that down for the middle of the month when the bills aren't due.
Honey, what are you doing?
Planning our plumbing problems, of course.
You can't plan our plumbing problems, but you should plan our plumber.
What do you mean?
Like all important contacts, I keep West Ark Plumbing in my phone. They're always there when we need them, and they don't overcharge since they know we don't plan our plumbing problems. Here, honey, here's their number.
646-5151. Thanks, babe.
West Ark Plumbing. We keep you flowing.
Tommy Craft for the Fence Man. If you've always wanted powered automatic gates at your home or business, but you didn't know who to call, let me tell you about the Fence Man. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man does it all. Custom wrought iron installations, automatic gates, even controlled access systems, and lots more. Ask about 18-month, same as cash financing with approved credit. For your custom fence and gate needs, call the Fence Man. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart
If I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're gonna go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. My heart, dog. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
What's able one Razorback?
Second half, very happy.
And vintage Matt Jones.
1, 2, 3. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Hi, and welcome back into halftime. It's Monday. We get you into your 12 o'clock hour on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Phil Elson, Matt Jones, and the C Unit, Christian Johnston, producing. With Mike Irwin in about 15 minutes, dig into basketball, football, baseball. Spring practice starting on Thursday, so first of 14 practices. I guess there's a chance they might want to try to settle on a quarterback at the end of spring ball, Matt. We know that there's pretty much a two-way battle between Jacoby Criswell and Taylon Green. I guess I thought that that's a battle that might progress into August, but it sounds like they want it to maybe come to an end at the end of spring ball.
Yeah, I mean, you want to get as much as you can deciphered and start defining roles and knowing what your role is going to be. You want it to be a healthy competition. You're not going to just give the job to anybody. Somebody's going to have to go out there and earn it. So what you want is for someone to separate themselves to where it's clear and obvious. It's like when you're watching, you're watching an NBA game. It's real easy to pick out the two. You're like, man, that dude's really good. That dude's really good. That's what you want to see out of your court. You want somebody to step and be like, oh, he's our guy. You want somebody to take a hold of it.
We've got a couple callers on hold, so let's get to these callers. I want to make sure we get to Mike on time. Scott in Alabama, thanks for holding through the break. He's on the McClarty Daniel hotline right now. Scott, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. I love you and Matt. Y'all got a great show. I love Clay Henry, man. Man of knowledge. I know that for sure. My question was, y'all were talking about this earlier about, like Matt was talking about how much they make, say $600,000 a year. When they come to this NIL stuff, how do they do that on far as taxes on them kids?
It's all
They
1099
have to have
stuff,
an agent.
Scott. I mean,
They
they're
have
all,
to have
as far as I understand, Scott, they're independent contractors, so they get a 1099 and they got to pay their own payroll tax, and everybody's so interested in the taxes when it comes to the NIL money. It blows me away how interested we all are in the taxes for the NIL money. But that's what I know about it. That it's 1099s, and that's the same as me and Matt. No different there. But it's not a salary. That's the thing. Like, you're taxed when you're an NFL player. You're taxed on a salary. The team is paying the payroll taxes, so it's different than NIL because NIL is not a salary. NIL is endorsement money. Endorsement money in many cases I think would be the same way. I don't know how all these endorsement deals work out, but I would assume it's the same thing as a 1099. So I don't know. I feel like we have to have a tax expert on this show at some point because everyone's interested in the taxes, man.
Yeah, I the whole NIL deal, Phil, I don't know that I've ever been in a room and had somebody sit down and explain it to me. So you probably know more. You're around it more than I am.
Well, my mom's a CPA, so she'd make sure that I pay those taxes no matter what. Caught me by surprise the first time I had to worry about it, but it's two things I never had to worry about. Dental health with a father who's a dentist and tax work because you got a mother who's a CPA. Charlie's in Camden. What's up, Charlie? How are you?
What's up, guys? And a thing I ain't ever had to worry about, a mama that's a nurse, and anytime something was wrong with the tuna back in the day, you know who the tuna was calling. He was calling mama. So she was always taking care of her. But now she tells me today that I'm still an idiot and don't know nothing to need her. I do need her. I always need her. But, your mom I think our moms tell us things like, oh, they'll say things like, man, you still need me. You still need me. They want that validation. So I don't know why they be acting like they don't, because they do. But I'm a mama's boy, so I'll just put it that way.
I always had you pegged as a mama's boy, Charlie. But what's up? What's going on?
That's cool with me. 'Cause what's his name stole my nickname. So anyway, Matt, I was gonna ask you, man. I don't know. Did you watch LeBron heroics the other Thursday night against the Clippers? Brought them back down 21.
No, I saw him against Denver break the 40,000.
Well, Denver's best right now. I don't even want to. Denver is, to me, they're the best team in the West, and I think everybody else will be trying to battle for second. But I just wondered if you saw that. It's just crazy to me how he's still doing it. You're right, though, Denver, man. That two-man game with Jamal Murray and Jokic, I have no idea what you do to stop that. I don't think there's an answer because they put guys around them that just know how to play. I mean, Michael Porter, what did he go yesterday? 11 for 11 field.
He was 5 of 5 from 3-point land. Yeah,
it's insane. And Phil, I was really worried yesterday about the game because you weren't there, even though I knew you were fulfilling your other duties. Nothing against the guy that called the game before, but I was glad Chuck was on there. And that they had a good time, and we played really well. I was going to ask you, too, I was going to bring this up. We think about pitching like, God, we got some studs, but, I think Dave has a lot more options than I guess I thought as far as hitters because, if guys aren't getting it done, as he said, we'll put some guys out there. And what's that Hawaiian kid, that freshman?
Souza.
I can't pronounce his last
Nolan
name.
Souza's got to start at second base the last 2 games. That kid's a dude.
Stud.
He's going to be one of the best players on this team, certainly in the next 2 years. And I mean, right now he's got an opportunity to get a lot of at bats before Stovall comes back.
Absolutely. And so my question to you, when you have all these options, though, how hard is it if somebody, because he could obviously DH for you too. I think the hit that he had yesterday, the home run, was one that Bubba said that was a pitcher's pitch. I didn't watch any game, but I heard it. It was a 2-strike count. It was a fastball down and away, and he just smoked it. And to have that ability to do that, because we always talk about, if you got to be able to swing at it if it's 2 strikes. And Bubba always talks about approach. Now, what's his name? Still got to be a little bit more patient. But, I think McLaughlin and Diggs are definitely our 2 most patient hitters, and hopefully everybody else follows suit. Anyways, y'all have a good one.
Well, it's good to hear from you, Charlie. Yeah, I mean, it is a team that's got a lot of options as far as pitchers and just as many options as far as hitters are concerned. And they're, still trying to find the right recipe to where the lineup is really clicking. There were some signs at times this last weekend. Didn't seem like guys were chasing out of the zone as much. Though, look, Aloy is just a swing. He's a swing guy. I think at one point he had swung at 9 straight pitches, but he also went 2 for 4 while he did that. So it's a fine line to try to get somebody to be more patient than he is when his at least his hitter's personality is no patience at all, because he's gotten to this point based on that talent. But Souza's got a chance. You have options here. You got right-handed options. You got left-handed options. Peyton Holt, right-handed, second base. Nolan Souza, left-handed. He can play anywhere. Same with Holt. He can play almost anywhere in the infield. You got the same thing with catchers. Roland, if you need a left-handed bat. You got a guy who can switch hit. Ross Lovich, left-handed outfielder. You got Edmondson, right-handed outfielder. Edmondson's getting time to play in center field. And it feels like a couple of positions that were spoken for on opening day are no longer necessarily spoken for at 100%. Center field is one of them. Top of the batting order, leadoff batter going along with center field, I think, because if it's Edmondson in center field, he's going to probably lead off because he's really quick and seems to have a good idea of the strike zone. And then there's second base, where I don't think there's anything that Peyton Holt has done. It's just Souza, there's something about him. There is something about Nolan Souza that says this kid can be a really special player for this team and then in the future, because he's like Helfrich. He's a freshman who doesn't look like a freshman. He looks like a grown man. He's going to get stronger and bigger, going to have the feel of what you're doing out there. And he's got a gorgeous swing. The ball comes off his bat like a lightning bolt, and he can fly. So, yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of options. A lot of times a freshman will just kind of sit and watch. Nolan Souza's not a freshman that's just going to sit and watch, at least for not now. Question about Vahiva Aloy from Mark in Fayetteville. Should you be concerned about Aloy not hitting well? He showed some signs this last week. And he went 3 for 12. He had a ball that went 105 off the bat that would have been a home run if not for those ridiculous winds coming in from center field. Yeah, I mean, you want to be concerned? Sure, if you look at the season numbers. But I think there were signs last weekend that Aloy is figuring it out a little bit. And I still think that his tools play towards SEC pitchers. I think he'll be able to catch up if they do challenge him with a fastball. It's just a matter of, will anybody actually dare to throw him a fastball? Because if that's a pitcher, it would just be breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball. And maybe you got to change your approach at some point and start sitting on that breaking ball. You can always sit on catching some fish when you got the hottest swimming jig on the Arkansas River, the Booyah Mobster, designed by the Muddy Water Mob in Arkansas and Oklahoma. It's been winning all the tournaments on Lake Dardanelle and Kerr Lake like clockwork in the last few years. If you're fishing submerged or matted grass, then you got to have the Booyah Mobster to reel them in. You'll find it at learnnet.com and tackle stores all over Arkansas and Oklahoma. Mike Irwin from Pig Trail Nation joining halftime in just a moment, so stay with us.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. And remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, You'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric.
PN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
You realize all the stuff going on in Razorback land right now. So you got baseball, you got both basketball teams, you got softball, gymnastics, track heads to the NCAA tournament. I might be forgetting, I think soccer's got a spring season going on, tennis right now too. And then there's spring football practice starting on Thursday. Mike Irwin's with us from Pig Trail Nation. Mike, lots going on right now. What's top of mind?
You know, I still am looking back to that Saturday basketball game. I know a lot of people have given up on this team, but it was such an unusual approach. I really thought, because Kentucky runs a lot, they don't play great defense, I thought Arkansas would probably try to slow it down, and the opposite was true. They ran with them, and I thought if you told me before the game they would just run up and down the floor with those guys, I would have said they're going to get beat by 40. Instead, they did some impressive things. They had more fast break points. They had more points off turnovers, more points in the paint, and they're up by 9 with 8 to go. I think they just ran out of steam. Kentucky has a little bit deeper bench than Arkansas. And the fouls were imbalanced there, but my goodness, if they had played that kind of offense all year long, I think they'd be right up there close to the top. I don't expect a team to go into Rupp and win a lot of times, especially the way Kentucky's playing right now. Early in the year, they weren't playing that well. But right now, they're as good as any team in the SEC. They've got great athletes, and I was just stunned. I could not believe what I was looking at.
Do you think there's any look where Kentucky might have been overlooking? Arkansas has nothing to lose, and the truth, Mike, Battle and Mark, though, as far as beating man coverage, that you can't guard those guys one-on-one.
I know, and yet, where's this been? This has come up.
Teams don't play the way Kentucky played, like they.
That's true.
Yeah.
They do. They played. Kentucky wants to run with you, but what I'm saying is, Arkansas hasn't been able to run. They turn the ball over too much. They're careless with the ball, and it wasn't just those two guys. I mean, Mekhi Mitchell got back and started playing pretty well. I think he scored 10 points or so. They just. Davenport, was a factor, and he hasn't been. I think he had 14 points.
I was proud of him, Mike. He had a bounce-back game, no question about it.
He did, and so I just thought, wow, this doesn't look like a team that's given up. I mean, I guess we'll see what they do at home against LSU. If they play that way, they should win. And then, Alabama's another team that doesn't play great defense. So what if you go in there and run with them and do what you did in this game? If you could pull off a big win like that on the road, then what do you do in the SEC tournament? No, they're probably not going to win it. And then you got a decision to make about what you do in as far as the NIT. But I'm starting to see some evidence that maybe there's some guys, that you want to bring back that improved a lot this year, and you bring in a couple of bigs next year, and maybe you got a different team. I don't know. There's all this talk about Musme going somewhere else and all that. I don't know what's going to happen. But I guess I'm just going to hang on to this basketball season until it's over.
Wasn't a very pretty game yesterday afternoon at the Pavilion, Mike. I mean, I would try to look for positives, just like you are with this loss to Kentucky, because that was an entertaining game. There wasn't anything entertaining about the women's team losing 87-43, and you're seeing signs of a team in the men's team that is going into what they hope is a postseason and have a chance to make a little bit of a run. I would like to feel the same way about the women's team. And look, there's going to be 2 weeks between when they finish in the SEC tournament and whatever postseason tournament they go to. But what I saw yesterday was just a team that has nothing left in the gas tank, both in terms of physically and mentally and emotionally. They're just, I don't know if I've seen a team that tired before.
Yeah, there's some things going on internally. I mean, this explanation of a family emergency, could you come up with something different than that? Maybe back problems, because that's what I've heard from some sources, that she's got back problems. Okay. I went back home because I'm being treated by somebody I'm more familiar with my back there. But when you just say family emergency, how long does an emergency go on? So there's a narrative here that, and I realize Mike Neighbors' job is just to coach the team, but there are times when you have to get out in front of things like that. And that, to me, has been a real mystery. There are some people that think she's just went back there so she can get more NIL money closer to home. We've talked about the fact that the women apparently don't have any NIL money or not much. And so that may be an issue, but there's just got to be a better explanation than there's a family emergency here. You lost your hotshot freshman who was your leading scorer and one of the better players in the country at times. And you can't tell me that didn't make a difference. It's an extra person out there. You said like they got tired. So I don't know where they're headed with this. I can't say they won't turn around and do some things from here on out, but you're right. They just looked, they just couldn't play in that game. That game was all about scoring and defending inside, and they couldn't do it. And then you're trying to shoot threes with somebody that runs better than you do, scores better points inside than you do, and can also shoot the three. It was just a complete mismatch.
Yeah, and it hasn't been a mismatch between those two programs in the last few years, although Ole Miss won 3 in a row. They're usually close games, and that's just nothing about yesterday was. Moving over to baseball, 9-2 this year right now, after 11 games last year, also 9-2. But I feel better about what they have going right now, because last year, remember, you're like, we're going to have to win a bunch of 10-7 games, a bunch of 9-6 games, and they did, for a while until the bottom fell out in the postseason. Right now, you got a team that needs to win games 3-1. They're going to win a 2-1 game out there at some point. And, you walk out of the ballpark like, man, we need to hit. But guess what? They win baseball games.
Yeah, and that's a good team that they swept. They're not great, but they're solid. That was a pretty good lineup, a pretty good hitting lineup. They had a couple of power hitters. And, Arkansas's bullpen gave up 2 runs the entire weekend. And look at your starters. It was just an amazing pitching performance. And then, their team batting average is up to 289. I think it was about 248 last week at this time. They still 9 home runs in 11 games. If you've got Nate Thompson's philosophy, I think you need more than that. But there's some signs that Dave Van Horn is adjusting. I want to play a little bit more small ball. So I don't feel bad about the offense right now. And you just, like you say, when you've got a pitching staff like that, if they can keep this up, you're going to be in almost every. I can't imagine you're not in games if you're holding teams to 2 and 3 runs. You're always going to be in a game.
Yeah, that was what was going on last year. Even last year, by this time, they'd lost a blowout game. And that was one of the weird parts of last baseball season is that you went 20-10 in the SEC, but out of those 10 losses, and I don't have it all in front of me, but I remember I think 2, 3, maybe 4 of them were blowout losses. And it would just be a huge surprise if Arkansas gets blown out on the baseball field at any time this year. I mean, that's how good this starting pitching is.
And it was good to see. The weather was good. Good to see that place full. The fans are there. It's baseball season now. And I'm still watching basketball, but, you can't ignore what's going on there. I mean, that's probably the most consistent sport on campus, the one that you just always fall back on. And look at DVH, man. That guy just has it going on. I don't know. You just look at him and you're thinking to himself, that guy knows what he's doing. Does he not know what he's doing?
No, he definitely does. So let's see. You got Sam Pittman speaking to the media tomorrow, 1:00 in the Broyles Center. We got practice starting on Thursday. We know about the quarterback battle. There's a lot of other things you could touch on with football. What are a couple storylines that you're going to zero in on early?
Well, I mean, this is the first true quarterback battle in a while. And when you throw Petrino into the mix, and then I was just reading today, I didn't realize this. I guess the NCAA has approved in-helmet communication with the quarterbacks. And can you imagine Petrino being able to talk directly to his quarterback? And apparently that goes up until 15 seconds before the play clock runs down. So when you line up, he can still be giving the quarterback instructions. That's just wild. So that's something, I'll be looking at, seeing how the quarterbacks develop. He's also, heavily involved in the way the receivers run routes, and then Arkansas's got these good tight ends, and he uses tight ends as receivers. He also uses them to block after the catch if somebody else catches the ball. So it's just what I'm going to be looking at is trying to go back and delve back into what I remember about what he did before and see if he's added some new touches. And again, definitely going to ask about this in-helmet communication stuff.
Sounds good, Mike. It's going to be so it's really a lot happening. You're going to have you won't have any dull days. Not like you do have too many dull days, but it would seem to me 7 days a week is going to be wild.
This is the busiest time of year. It'll drive you crazy.
Absolutely,
you can't keep up with all of it.
Mike, appreciate your time. Thank you. We'll do it again Monday next week.
Okay, see you guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Mike Irwin from Pig Trail Nation with us on Halftime. Hey, you know what's coming up soon? It's just in like 5 days. National Meatball Day is March the 9th. You can celebrate that with the spicy meatball skillet served at Twin Peaks and Rogers. You get toasted garlic bread or the spicy meatball parmesan with a stuffed toasted hoagie roll served with seasoned French fries. Also sign up for the March Madness Challenge at TwinPeaksRestaurant.com. Receive free chips and queso. That's TwinPeaksBracketChallenge.com to register and learn more. Best place to watch March Madness as well, featuring 29-degree draft beer made from scratch fan favorites and sports blasting from every angle. That's Twin Peaks and Rogers. More TVs, bigger screens, and scenic views. And Halftime is back in a moment.
Don't let the winter weather get you down. Elevate your spirits with the Burton Pools and Spas Beat the Winter Blues Hot Tub Sale. Save up to $5,000 on Hot Spring Hot Tubs, the world's best-selling brand. Spend time with your family in the new Serenity Series 6-person hot tub for only $74.99. Warm up and say goodbye to the winter blues with a hot tub from Burton Pools and Spas. Visit us in Springdale, Fort Smith, or at burtonpools.com. At Burton, we don't just sell hot tubs. We build long-term relationships.
Thank you for 40 unforgettable years. Dell Technologies is celebrating with anniversary savings on their most popular tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 13 Plus, powered by Intel Core processors, and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors, mice, and more must-have electronics and accessories. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
This is Halftime. Hey, I'm Hagen Smith. As an Arkansas pitcher, I know the importance of precision, skill, and keeping cool under pressure. That's why for your home, choosing the right team for heating and air is just as important. You want professionals who bring their best game. When it comes to staying comfortable, I rely on Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. They'll send pros to take care of your home, too. Sign up now for Pascal's Plan Protection membership before the summer heat for only $8.99 a month. Never pay for a tune-up again when they're included in your membership. Professional people, professional service. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Z Road, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Need to lose 100 pounds this year? Don't restrict your diet. Forget joining a gym. Instead, lose the weight of that cheating spouse of yours. At Mock Legal Solutions, there is no hourly billing. You pay one flat fee for your divorce. Call today, 479-769-1505. And let's be honest, it's closer to 200 pounds, right? Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price.
Love and marriage, love and marriage.
Flu vaccines, both regular and high dose for seniors, are now available at Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith. Call 452-6116 to schedule your shot appointment. Usually there is no cost when covered by your insurance. Law's Drug has COVID vaccines, RSV vaccines for ages 60 plus. Pneumonia and tetanus shots are also available. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family. The best Tex-Mex and even better service is at Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith. Every Friday is Fajita Friday, featuring their charbroiled steak and chicken. It's tender, full of flavor, and comes with all the fixings. Saturdays are for endless enchiladas with Joe's homemade enchilada sauce and all the beef, chicken, or cheese enchiladas you can eat. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, even better service. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Do you need an oil change but don't have time to drop off your car? S&J Express Lube will let you sit in your car while they do the work, and it only takes about 15 minutes with no appointment needed. Prices start at $35.99 for a 20-point inspection service. S&J Express Lube is open Monday through Friday 9 till 6 and Saturdays 8 till noon. You'll find them at 14818 Highway 71 South in Jenny Lind. Check them out on Facebook too. S&J Express Lube, your authorized Castrol dealer in Sebastian County. They are waiting on you now.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
So hurry, joy.
So stand back and
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Mac Brown says, quote, I feel the four conference champs should be treated equally and all should have a first round bye. Hard to be a champion, so it does matter, unquote. Dave Doran of NC State says, quote, after the four champions, let those teams that have earned that over the course of the season with strength of schedule, their ranking, quality wins, all that be what matters. Let's see. Mike Gundy says, makes no sense. Sonny Dyke says automatic first-round buys for the Big Ten and SEC is like the NFL saying the Cowboys get a first-round buy since they have more fans than the Bengals, and it's preposterous. None of that really addresses what this whole thing is about from the SEC and the Big Ten to force an idea of what could be a 14-team playoff where the champions of the SEC and the Big Ten get automatic buys and no other teams would, is that it's a power play by these two leagues. It's not a matter of fairness. And in the terms of what these coaches are saying, I agree, but they're not equal partners. They're just not equal partners. In the NFL, if you got one of those franchises, you are viewed as having one of 32 seconds of the NFL. That's not what college football is viewed like. This is the SEC and the Big Ten daring the other leagues to not go along with what the gorilla and the elephant of college sports want to do, because if they don't go along with it, then the Big Ten and the SEC, Matt, are just going to start their own association. It will be a two-league thing that we would have in college sports, and then would let everybody else figure it out from there. You know, then you would have the Big Ten, the Big 12, the ACC, and the Group of Fives form their own thing, and you would have SEC Big Ten sports.
I wonder if people would still pay attention to it. You know, if you had separate colleges, you know, it'd be more of like an ABA and an NBA, because it seemed like that back in the day, AFL, NFL, you wanted to be included, everybody together. Now it seems like they're separating again. You kind of got, if you have your 30, 40 teams like that, and then if you have the other 90 squads or whatever, what is it, 131, 128 on the football roster? So if that's how you go, are they interested in it as much? Because that's not even counting Division II and non-Power 5.
I mean, because it means something when you have the word national champion, and it's maybe people go by this and that with the polls and how they view about everything, but it is an undisputed thing because we've all agreed to be part of this one association, and with football, it's the playoff, and we know, so that's your champion, and it's not disputed any longer. Well, would you feel differently about it if you have two leagues that view themselves as superior than the others? And let's be flat out honest about it. The Big Ten and SEC are superior to the other leagues in football. There might be, basketball, you could say a couple things here and there. Baseball, they certainly are in the SEC, but it's all about football. Do you view that as a national championship in that case? Or do you view the other leagues as being a minor league of a sort? But that's what this is to me. Like, was it Sankey that when this advisory committee between the SEC and Big Ten was formed, that a week later on Feinbaum, he says, well, our goal is not to supplant the NCAA, is to advise it. But you know what this, you can't believe everything everybody says on TV, because it's a message that's designed, that probably has two meanings behind it. To say one thing to fans and kind of say another thing to your business partners. And right now, that's a shot across the bow of the business partners that are viewed as lesser than the SEC and the Big Ten. That if you don't go along with us, we have enough numbers, we have enough money coming in from the networks where we can form our own thing. And I think they would do that. It would just be about football, but the other aspect of this is that, like, basketball and baseball and all the other sports probably would follow suit, because then you break the model of the NCAA. Then the NCAA is no longer with these two major leagues. That would be you want to talk about all the changes that have happened in college sports, Matt. Nothing would be any bigger than the two behemoth leagues breaking off and going to form their own thing. And I think that's what this is about, that if you don't go along with the way that we want this football playoff to be structured, we will go start our own thing.
Yeah, I don't know which direction it's going. I don't know if it's good for college football. You have fans and you have money, so I guess you feel like you can do whatever you want. It's going to be interesting. I don't know if we'll still be doing this radio show in 10 years, but in 2034, I don't think college football or college sports at all is going to look anything like it looks right.
I think you're right.
I don't know where it's going, and I don't know if it's healthy or not. But I don't think it's going to look anything like what this.
Well, I don't think it's good for college football, but that's also independent of what these leagues view as good for them, which it's the money.
That's
it. Money and it's power.
That's it.
Money and power, usually two things that seem to screw a bunch of things up. Phone calls can screw a thing up every once in a while. So let's talk to Brian in Ozark. Hi, Brian. He's on the McClarty Daniel hotline. What's up, Brian? How are you?
I'm good. I got to admit, I went up to the baseball game yesterday, and that was a good time. I got kind of worried a little bit. And I don't know about the seventh inning when they tied.
Yeah, they had kind of a funny little Murray State had a funny little moment with the infield fly rule, didn't they?
Yeah, it was a good time. I was surprised that the ballpark was only like half full, though. It seemed like there's more people in the hog pen than there was in the stadium.
No, and I picked up on that too. Then Saturday was more of a late arriving crowd, probably because of the basketball game. But yeah, the hog pen looked like it had more people, at least, or less open spaces than behind home plate, at least for the first couple of innings.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of cool. I walked in and got in free. I didn't have to buy a ticket, so I had a good time. But I was listening to your comments about, the SEC and Big Ten being entire conferences, and I get that for the most part. But what do you do with the weak laggard teams that really don't win anything, and they're 3 and 4, and when you look at the bottom of the SEC and the bottom of the Big Ten, they would be at the bottom of the Big 12 as well.
Yeah,
and they're just not very good teams. So what are they doing? Are they just riding the coat and getting a big paycheck? I mean, that's really not fair to the top of the league, is it?
No, and at that point, and Brian, thank you for the phone call. I think at that point, like if you are breaking away from the association that this whole enterprise has been a part of for 120 years, well, then there are no rules any longer. I mean, there's still bylaws in each of these leagues. I mean, they are their own associations, meaning the SEC and the Big Ten. So, I mean, I'd be interested to read in these bylaws, if there's an opportunity to kick somebody out of the league. Because I only remember that happening once when it was the Big East and Temple was kicked out because I don't think they'd won a football game for like 2 or 3 seasons. And I think that's you'd referred to that too, I think, Matt, in the idea of like relegation. You lose 30 in a row or something like that, or 2 seasons without a win, you can get relegated. If we're in a world where 2 leagues in college sports could conceivably break away, form their own association, then yes, I do think it's that we would also live in a world where the so-called bottom feeders, could have their existence in those leagues threatened. Because at that point, it's just a business now. Now that's all it is. It's just a business, and the rich who would feel that it's the same that how some Major League Baseball teams feel about how the lower level or the mid-market teams that don't spend money, that they're just kind of stealing from the rest of them because they're not spending on salary or player development. I think there are colleges, universities, athletic departments that would feel the exact same way about lower level programs.
Well, yeah, I don't think Arkansas is a lower level program when you look across the college landscape. I think they're okay in the SEC. I mean, they won the SEC baseball championship last year. Have probably one of the best baseball teams, track and field. So if you're saying just football, yeah, maybe you have something to worry about if you're going to do some type of promotion and relegation. But as a collective, I think Arkansas is okay.
I mean, maybe it's the same with Vanderbilt, right? I mean, so football for Vanderbilt is absolutely brutal. It's one of the better baseball programs. So, I mean, it's the
Lady
Commodores
Commodores are usually pretty good. I don't know how good they are this year.
They're an NCAA tournament.
That's what I mean. Yeah, they have some talent, some other places. Yeah.
But that would be the next step. If you're at a place where the SEC and Big Ten could break away, then I think you're in a place where there could be existences in each league threatened, but it all has to do with the constitution of that league, the makeup of the league. It's, how do you construct a league? Well, you write bylaws, everybody agrees to it, and now you have an association. Is there something inside the bylaws of that association that says if you don't meet certain criteria about this or that, enrollment levels, numbers of sports that you sponsor. You have to sponsor a certain amount of sports to be an SEC school. All of those things. Is there something in there that could say, hey, we can boot you out if you don't win X number of football games? I don't think there is.
Is there a policy in baseball where you have a minimum pay? Like, don't you have to get to a minimum threshold? And so I could see that being something with your NIL or with your stuff. You got to at least get to a certain amount of paying this money to be able to compete at this level.
I mean, that would make sense. I mean, that's expenditures. You're expected to spend X amount of dollars on, because it comes to salaries, to players. That's when it comes down to. the X amount of dollars that are spent on we're not even talking about college sports anymore.
It's not even a thing.
No, it isn't.
It's not a student athlete thing anymore. Not for, your certain positions. I think it is certain players and stuff, but it's just it's really the 5%. The top 5% are going to get most of the money. But 95% of these kids need to go to class, need to get a degree, need to worry about their future. But it's not that you don't make as much money as soon as you can. Go ahead and make your money.
It's just that, if you the model is if the Division I athlete starts getting paid, well then is that what happens with every Division I athlete? Or every Division I football
if you
player?
can find
does it filter down to D2, D3. I mean, now we're talking about a whole different thing, a completely different thing. At least when you come out of high school now, there is that understanding that you went to class in high school, you're a student, you're still a student when you come play for a college, but it wouldn't feel like that any longer. It really wouldn't. Man, college sports, all sorts of fun. 877-377-6963 when you want to get with us on the McClarty Daniel hotline. It's these two it's like you got your conversation about college sports, but there's all the on-field stuff, the on-court stuff, running an offense, scheming things up, throwing strikes, first pitch strikes, changing speeds, running the bases, all of that kind of stuff. The kind of conversation you have when it comes to the actual playing of the sport. And then there's everything else going on behind the scenes, which has absolutely nothing to do with that. And the structure of college sports just completely changing right in front of our eyes to where it's like Matt said, in 10 years, I think in 2 years, it won't look anything like it does right now. We'll wrap up that second hour in just a moment.
At A&P Auto Sales, we take pride in the way we do business. We focus 100%.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. And remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jones Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jones Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for, he's actually, it's the one thing about Arkansas that he said good things about is Dave Van Horn and the Razorbacks.
If they let me in for free, I'd probably say good things too.
Well, that was the other aspect. It was, forget about that he's watching hog baseball. He's just walking right into the hog pen. It's like, I think it should have a sign on him that says, I am Brian in Ozark. And nobody would let him in for free. But good for him, man. He's a little ninja. Cody in Bentonville has been at Ninja. We haven't seen him in a minute. What's up, Cody? How are you?
Hey, guys. How y'all been?
Been great. We've missed you, though.
Hey, man, same. Been busy. It's beginning of the year. Hey, how about this weather finally warming up, too?
I know we're gonna get an early summer now, man. It's we're gonna get up to 100 degrees in March. Really excited about that.
Right about the time we're gonna be figuring out if we're going to Omaha or not. You're gonna have some toasty games to call. I feel like, Phil.
Well, it'll be shorts weather for sure. So it's great. I'll start the season with a space heater in the booth, and I'll end the season with one of those like personal air conditioners around my neck.
Hey, I watched a documentary on YouTube about like great Razorback game callers and everything. Had Paul Eels and then Chuck. I guess Chuck and who was the guy who used to do color with Chuck, and then he left. Keith Jackson. I guess Chuck used to piss everybody off because he'd want that real atmosphere vibe up there in the booth, and it'd be freezing cold, and he'd open up the window, and I guess they just get frustrated about that. I thought that was pretty funny.
Agree with him. I think he's changed a little. We did, I forget what game it was this last year, really cold. We did it with the booth closed, no windows open. And I thought this is not the Chuck Barrett that I thought about before. Yeah. Now I want the windows open, but if the wind is blowing all over the place, yeah, you got to shut those things because papers go everywhere. So do coffee cups that are still open.
Oh, especially on a day like today, it's super windy. I don't even think Matt Jones could crack a 70 or an 80 out on the golf course.
No question.
Today.
Could not. You're right.
Hey, real quick, I wanted to touch base with y'all. Man, this goes to show with the portal and all that. We're off by a consistent big man and a point guard on the court. Would you guys agree? That's all we're missing. What a hell of an effort against Kentucky. Battle, man, he's in a groove. Mark looks good. If we just had that point guard, that consistent move the ball point guard, man, we'd be where we want to be. I really feel that way. And then we need a consistent big man next year. A guy, we're missing like how we had Williams, we had all those players in the past. We always had a consistent big man. This year, this year, I don't know what happened with Mitchell. He's had a couple games where he played up to his potential. I just feel like he hasn't been there. But point guard and big man next year for basketball. And then on the baseball field, I don't know if Van Horn's ever had this good of a pitching staff from what I've seen, but the offense scares me. And I know we've come on a little bit as of late, Phil, but that hitting's just not that consistent. Even this weekend against Murray State, we had some glimpses of hitting the ball, but anytime we're facing somebody going above 90 and having 2 or 3 great pitches, I know that's hard to do, and not most people can do it, but the consistency on the offensive side of the ball is still not there, and that's what worries me. I think pitching-wise, we'll get there. We'll get to the big games. We'll get to Omaha. I just hope when we get there, we don't waste the pitching staff that we have this year, and I hate to be like that, but, I mean, I think we're so close this year, Phil. But, hey, man, it's been a while. Missed you guys. Hope all is well, and I'll talk to y'all soon.
Cody, it's great to hear from you. Thank you for the call. It had been a minute. Cody sounded like somebody who hadn't made a call to halftime for a while. He had a lot to get to, and he rolled right through it.
I felt his enthusiasm, though. It was good to have him back. That's right. That was
good to have enthusiasm.
Kind of lifted my spirits a little bit. I like it.
He always has
Thank
that
you.
sound in his voice. That's exactly right. It'll be really interesting to see if the struggles offensively continue, because then you end up getting to a point where I think Dave Van Horn goes back to some of the things that he used to do as a head coach, where they still do some now, but you see him bunting a little bit more. You might see a couple more guys that look to steal bases, because you got guys on this team that can. So, I mean, if you can't score runs by knocking it over the fence, there are other ways to score runs too. Stay with halftime into the third hour in just a moment.
Subiaco in Scranton. If you made a resolution to get reliable internet for the new year, Wave Rural Connect can make that happen. The latest zone covering Subiaco in Scranton is now open. Make this New Year's resolution come true with internet, TV, and phone service from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or phone 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
I know we're always on the go, heading to Fayetteville, Little Rock, Oklahoma City, and you need a place to fill up. But not just for gas. I need snacks, drinks, and a restroom that doesn't make me throw up. That's why my new favorite pit stop is Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue on the way out of town. I can't stop by without getting something from their hot box or a fresh made burger. That's Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make Awake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make Awake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make Awake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make Awake Bait and Tackle.
It's the third annual car show brought to you by McKenzie's Racing Supply. Bring your street rods, hot rods, and race cars from all area racetracks. Everyone is invited for a fun day of cars and music at McKenzie's Racing Supply, 1111 South 4th Street, Van Buren. Saturday, March 23rd from 11 to 1. Trophies will be awarded. Live music from the Jug Hill Annie Band. Sponsored by SDI Incorporated, Midwest Automation, JRT Trucking, Eddie Knight Auto Sales, and Extreme Diesel.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, partly sunny sky. There's a very slight chance of seeing an isolated shower. Thunderstorm high today into the middle 70s. Better chance of showers and storms tonight. Overnight lows will drop down into the mid 50s. And then for Tuesday, partly to mostly cloudy skies. Chance of showers and storm highs in the 70s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Shamrock Liquor Warehouse, 5609 Midland Boulevard, your leader in fine wines, beers, and spirits.
It's fast. It's exciting.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is halftime, coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect it. If I'm all right. What can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah. Jones, take it to the house.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. My heart, dog. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
What's able one Razorback?
Second half, very happy.
And vintage Matt Jones.
1, 2, 3. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
It is halftime, getting into the third hour here on a beautiful Monday. Got the sun poking through the clouds where I am right now, so that feels good. 877-377-6963 to get with us on the McClarty Daniel hotline. We'll have Matt Zimmerman coming up in about 15 minutes, taking in on Arkansas basketball. I'm Phil, Matt Jones. C-Unit Christian Johnston is producing. His life was changed over the weekend. Like we have to actually sit for a moment here, Matt, and take a victory lap. I think Christian Johnston's life was literally changed this last weekend.
You did well.
Maybe more so than when he got married. Certainly more so than when he had a very special surgery for his puppy, Asher. But, I mean, we introduced him to his 2 favorite albums of all time. It's like we can end the show now. I mean, forever.
How is Asher doing? Did he listen to Jimmy Page and Robert Plant?
I actually put some of it on when I was in my recliner and I went to sleep and he went to sleep too. I was out for like 4 hours and yeah, he had to listen to it and he slept well too. So maybe he liked it.
He's been behaving good.
Gonna need to play Led Zeppelin 1 and 2 over and over and over again. Seminal albums for C-Unit. What's the what album hit you the hardest? If I could put you on the spot, Matt. An album that the first time you heard it, you thought to yourself, man, it isn't going to get any better than this.
Oh, Siamese Dream, Smashing Pumpkins.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, the Yellow Submarine Beatles album was about my third album I ever bought when I was a sophomore in high school. And that one was a good one. I was like, oh, there's some good music right there, you know. But yeah, Smashing Pumpkins, they definitely rocked. St. Vincent, the Actor album, or her self-titled St. Vincent album, that's pretty good too.
One that hit me was Yellow Brick Road. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, Elton John, double album.
Entire catalog. Yeah.
I mean, every song on that album is won't call it a banger, but it's great storytelling. But those ones definitely hit me too. Have you heard C-Unit? I'm going to throw his name out there. Since we're doing like early 70s, like late 60s, early 70s, if it's going to be the Doors this next weekend, have you listened to much early Elton John?
Yellow Brick Road is all I've really...
Just the song, not the entire album.
Honky Cat, Get Back, Saturday Night's All Right
Man
for
Man
Fighting.
on the Water?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Saturday.
Ooh. You know, there are some people here that if we chose Elton John over Pink Floyd, there would be riots in the streets in some places.
Elton's more poppy. His first stuff is definitely more tavern rock, more like hillbilly rock, redneck, if that's the words you want to use, and he gets going on. But yeah, Elton John's early stuff was it's definitely got a rawness to it, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Yeah. A little more hunger then, before he made his billions. Funny how that thing works out. Al in Fort Smith said, Audio Slave Cochise, instant fan. Not one.
Yeah, Chris Cornell. He's a gangster. He had Soundgarden, Audio Slave. He had his own stuff. He put out a lot of music. The late great Chris Cornell. But he was part of that '90s rock wave. Black Hole Sun. Everybody, I think, remembers that MTV music video.
That was so.
right?
Even thinking about it makes my skin crawl.
It makes me think of Johnny Depp, Edward Scissorhands, Winona Ryder, when they're doing that whole artwork, the way they do it. It's about the same time period too.
It is about what was Edward Scissorhands? Was that late? That was like late
early
80s?
'90s, yeah, late
about the
'80s,
same
but it's
time.
about the same, yeah.
Country Club by Travis Tritt. I've heard that's the same sort of album for a lot of people out there. Chris loves Mad Men and Mad Men Across the Water. Stephen Ford Smith, Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses. B.E. loved Live in Paris by Supertramp. Everclear by Bub in Fayetteville. All good stuff. All good stuff. You know what one for me was? If you've listened to this show long enough, you know this. In 3D by Weird Al. I mean, that was seminal for me. 6-year-old Phil. You ever want to know why I am the way I am? That album's a huge reason why. Let's see. See some headlines here. Jason Kelsey has now announced his retirement. Didn't you know he was retired when he was like bare-chested in the suite at the? Was that at their game in Buffalo? That's when you knew he was really retired. When he's trashed. I mean, totally trashed. Being a member of the Bills Mafia while he's rooting for Kansas City at that moment. He looked like he was a member of the Bills Mafia.
Well, he had the best time that day. Kelsey, his brother might have had some touchdowns on the field, but his Jason had the best time.
Announced his retirement after 13 seasons, 6-time All-Pro. So
that's
a Hall of Famer first ballot, probably.
I think is Jeff Saturday. I'd wonder Peyton Manning center, because Jeff Saturday, the centers are their builds a little bit different. No question than a tackle, even a guard. But you look at Jeff Saturday and you look at Jason Kelsey. In all honesty, Jason Kelsey's going to lose 100 pounds in the next 2 years, or however long. Like he will cut that. Like you have to gain so much more weight to be at that position, especially the centers. They're just a little smaller. But man, I asked just for Hall of Fame reference if Jeff Saturday's in the Hall of Fame.
I don't think he is.
Okay, I didn't know if he got in there not being Peyton Manning's center for so long. But Jason Kelsey, man, he's the real deal.
No, Saturday's not in. 6-time Pro Bowler. He was a first-team All-Pro twice, second-team All-Pro once, and, of course, a Super Bowl champion. But I didn't see what his, what the percentages were, number of votes he got or all of that, but he didn't make it. Mike Evans is continuing his career. He has signed a 2-year contract extension. This is worth $52 million. He doesn't slow down at all. He doesn't slow. He's 30 years old. He's had nothing but 1,000-yard seasons throughout his entire career, and that's through all of these Tampa Bay quarterbacks over the years. I mean, not just Brady, but also last year with Baker. In fact, he had one of his better seasons, at least by yardage, almost 1,300 yards. And Evans right now, so I scroll down here, 33rd all time in receiving yards. He's just in front of Megatron, and I think his career right now. Yeah, he's played one more year than Megatron did, and got in front of him by a bit. Man, that's a guy like Megatron could have set every record.
Well, he had that Barry Sanders syndrome. You're up there in Detroit and it's cold and you're not winning. Evans got him a Super Bowl when Tom Brady came into town. That's the main reason I think he's staying in Tampa, because he's already got him a chip. Tampa Bay's not winning a ring the next 2 years, so it's kind of just his good for him. I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I do. I think he's a little bit underrated. I think he's that man. I think he's superb. He is a Galactico, so to speak. Man, he's tough. He makes big time plays, and he's what you want in an NFL receiver.
1,000-yard seasons, while he's been catching passes from Josh McCown, from Jameis Winston, Tom Brady, and now Baker Mayfield.
Little Fitzmagic maybe in there too.
Yeah, I think so as well. And Johnny Manziel, speaking of former Aggies, says he's going to be skipping the Heisman Trophy ceremony until the NCAA returns Reggie Bush's Heisman Trophy to him, which, of course, the NCAA does not have the trophy to begin with. It's the New York Athletic Club.
I don't think the Heisman Trophy's worried about his boycott. I think they'll be just fine and go right on.
I have a feeling that's exactly
gonna need Johnny.
That's just something they move right past.
Yeah, Johnny Heisman, you're going to have to get some other guys to sign up with you before it matters.
Funny thing was he referred to his morals, that it bothered his morals that the NCAA isn't giving Reggie Bush's Heisman back. I saw the Manziel documentary. I'm not sure if morals have really much to do with anything. In just a moment here on Halftime, we'll be talking with speaking of highly moralistic individuals, the one and only Matt Zimmerman.
Coach Z. I got to see how his golf game's doing. I got to see. I know he's a little bit of a golfer.
Can't be doing that much golf in the middle of basketball season, though. I think his golf season's going to start a little earlier.
Oh, that's right.
Like.
Spring fever, it's in there.
We'll talk with Coach Z, Arkansas basketball, in just a moment on Halftime.
Brady Slavens sparks this team to Omaha, and the roadshow continues for the Arkansas Razorbacks. A 4-3 win, come from behind style in the ninth inning. The Razorbacks dogpiling on the field here in Chapel Hill with their 11th trip to the College World Series, and you can call them the Omaha's.
Listen to every Razorback baseball game on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
At A&P Auto Sales, we take pride in the way we do business. We focus 100% on our customers and believe car buying should be a fun, hassle-free experience. We will work with your budget and offer a dependable car at a price you can afford. Bank financing is available with approved credit, or cash is always accepted. Hop on over to 1202 Fayetteville Road in Van Buren and choose from a wide selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. Contact us today at 353-1246 or check us out online at apautosales.net. Find your next car at A&P Auto Sales in Van Buren.
Subiaco and Scranton, if you made a resolution to get reliable internet for the new year, Wave Rural Connect can make that happen. The latest zone covering Subiaco and Scranton is now open. Make this New Year's resolution come true with internet, TV, and phone service from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or phone 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Come on along, head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Bush. Life.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022. Anheuser-Busch, Busch, and Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Husbands, sons, daughters, honor your wife or mother for Mother's Day at the inaugural Mystery at the Fort Legacy Ball, benefiting Heart to Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center on May 11th at the U.S. Marshals Museum. Buy your tickets today for this 1940s mystery dinner, coupled with an exciting night of investigative entertainment and lively dancing with the band Who Shot JR. For more information, call 479-452-2260.
If you've lived in the River Valley for a while, you know about the great reputation of Jam Mart. And their newest location at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith is open. Stop by for coffee, gas, beer, snacks, ices, and a clean restroom every time. Don't forget about the hot deli and fresh-made burgers. Now 7 locations in Fort Smith, Greenwood, Boonville, Ozark, and Danville. Sign up for their loyalty program for discounts throughout the stores. Jam Mart, the leading convenience store and gas station in the region.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Harrod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 4th Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their Bodywork.
Precision Overhead Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all of your overhead door needs. Fully licensed and insured, with locations in Rogers and Fort Smith, serving all of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Give them a call today at 844-PBS-STORE or online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Back-to-back winners of the Best of Award, Gold Best Garage Company in Northwest Arkansas, and also winners of the River Valley Precision Overhead Door.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. But if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you, I tell you, I tell you we must die.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
We are working on getting Matt Zimmerman. I think he's been working the Swatters Club, which is the once a month get together for Arkansas baseball. DVH gets up and speaks to everybody. Of course, the Razorback Foundation is heavy involved in that, so I think that's where Zim is. He said he'd be out of there pretty soon. We'll get him to call in just a moment. I mentioned earlier, Matt, baseball team is 9-2, just like they were last year at this time. Do you feel better about a team that is pitching well, not hitting as well as you think, or a team like last year that was smacking the ball all over the place, but was giving up about twice as many runs as this pitching staff is?
You know, I don't know what order, Phil, that everybody keeps track of things. If you said pitching, defense, offense, if those are categories, pitching, defense, hitting, because I don't know if hitting necessarily goes in it goes into offense, but what kind of category are you going in? To me, I would want, I guess I want pitching first, defense second, hitting third.
That's what I want.
Okay, yeah, that's what it sounds like. So as long as we're in that order, you got to have pitching, you got to be able to defend and not make errors, and then you got to figure out how to manufacture runs. And there's different ways to win. There's different ways in football to win. There's different ways in basketball. But if I had to put a premium or what I would want first, it would be pitching, defense, hitting.
The thing about this pitching staff that stands, the strikeouts are always going to be a thing, and they lead the nation in strikeouts. But they've only walked 29 batters, so there's this ridiculous strikeout to walk ratio of like 6.5 to 1. That's the difference. Is sometimes the strikeouts go with walks, which means men on base, which means pressure pitches, which means one hit can really do you in. If you got two guys on base and you walk them both, or you hit a guy and you get the one hit, that makes a huge difference. They're not walking anybody. Hagen Smith, he is as pinpoint right now as any pitcher that Arkansas has ever had. Brady Tigert, we knew that he had the starters repertoire, and his curveball the other day. Matt, his curveball on Saturday was major league quality.
Kershaw-esque?
It was Kershaw-esque. Yes. He threw it at two different speeds, mixed in.
Yeah, the Barry Zito, the 12 to 6 curve going on. He had
Brady's an interesting kid. Zito's interesting too. He throws harder than Zito ever did, though.
Yeah. Zito had that looper though, that big old curve. Yeah,
he had a big looper. But there's nothing about Brady's curveball that is loopy. It snaps.
Okay,
it snaps. It's a snapper. And then there's Molina, who I know he was walking guys in the fall and in the lead up to the regular season, but he's not right now. And it's the same working out of the bullpen. Like McIntyre never walks anybody. Cody Frank is a strike thrower. Gabe Gackle, and this is a thing about Gackle that, like, as good as Hagen Smith is right now, Gackle, there's something about Gabe. He's not going to start this year for this team. He is aces. He will be the ace of this team next year. And I don't know where his birthday falls in, so when he would be eligible for the draft, hopefully he's with Arkansas for another 2 years afterwards, because like Hagen Smith had trouble throwing strikes at times his freshman year. So did Tigert every once in a while. They just, I don't know if it was a matter of repeatable delivery or just, sometimes it's difficult to be able to command something that is thrown that hard. But not Gackle. Not Gackle. 6'1", 205, compact delivery. Not a lot going on in his mechanics. It's repeatable, and he throws it to just about where he wants. And that was the thing that stood out from this last weekend, is that he came in a pressure cooker situation Friday in the 8th inning with the tying runs on base and faced a veteran hitter who fouled off some really good 2-strike pitches and then finished him off with a breaking pitch that was otherworldly, and then made quick work of the next batter. He saved that 8th inning, and then they scored 2 runs for him in the bottom of the 8th, and he closed out the game. I think that they have a lot of faith in Gackle's ability to pitch in any situation, but they're not at the point where they're just going to hand him the ball because it's the 9th inning and you have the lead, because you have other pitchers like what they did with McIntyre yesterday. Give him the ball and let him finish it. If he's showing you that he's throwing strikes and batters are having trouble making solid contact, even the second time through the batting order, they're going to let McIntyre try to finish a game. Right now, and Faraday, I think they might bring into certain situations when you absolutely have to have a strikeout. But he's the one who goes along with, he still doesn't know where it's going. But if he throws it somewhere over the plate, watch out, because his fastball is special. It's Gackle and it's McIntyre, I think, right now, that you will see closing games for the time being. I think Cooper Dawson may get an opportunity because Dawson has shown that he also has that repeatable delivery, and he's healthy, and he's got a great couple of pitches. So those I think are guys that we will see get an opportunity to close out games very soon. And yeah, there's something about Gackle. Now, I'd also say last year they'd outscored in the first 11 games, Matt. They'd outscored their opponents by 38 runs. And that they were doing it by smacking the ball all over the place and giving up a lot of runs. This year it's in reverse, and in the first 11 games, they've outscored their opponents by 49 runs. That's 11 more than they'd outscored opponents from the first 11 games last year. So it's 1 extra run per game. That's a reason why I feel better about this team right now than I do last year's team right now. Like last year's lineup, no doubt, it's I think, even when the season's over and the numbers are finished and you got the whole body work to look at, last year's lineup probably will be a more productive lineup. That doesn't necessarily equal wins. You just have to score more runs than the opponent. And this pitching staff makes it incredibly difficult for opponents to score runs because they just can't square it up. Things may change a little once you start getting into the SEC, but this stuff pitches in the SEC. And these batters are going to struggle. Oh, we got Zim with us right now. So let's go to the McLarty Daniel hotline. Matt Zimmerman is standing by. Good afternoon, Zim. How was the Swatters Club?
Oh, Swatters Club was great. Sorry, I was a little bit late getting out of there, but it was good. Big crowd, and Coach, man, he goes about an hour. He really breaks down all the past games, those 11 games. He goes over every pitcher that's pitched and every batter that's batted, and he talks at length, and then he takes questions. So he does really good with the Swatters Club.
And every once in a while, he's got jokes. Like every once in a while, Dave's got jokes. I don't know if he doesn't have a joke writer, but he definitely has the sense of humor.
He does have a funny sense of humor, and he kind of surprises you with the things that he says. And he even talked about the young man that had 2 doubles on Saturday, and then he walked up, before the game yesterday. He puts the lineups up real early. He said, at the clubhouse waving like a breakfast for yesterday's game. They already know who's in the lineup. And then just a few minutes before the game, he walked down there and he told the young man, he said, "Hey, have you ever hit 2 doubles the day before? Then the next day you're not in the lineup?" And he said, "No, sir." And he said, "Well, sorry about that. That's how it is at Arkansas." And so it was kind of funny. He's being very honest. Coach is great, and he really he loves this team. Though you can see that, and that makes you feel good because he's a guy. He's been around it a long, long time. When he loves a team like this, you feel like the sky's the limit.
Hey, Coach Z, who's been kind of a surprise right now? I know we were talking about earlier. Phil was earlier about the second baseman from Hawaii that got a little playing time and has been a pleasant surprise. Who's kind of been the surprise so far this year?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's I'm a Will McIntyre fan. Obviously, I love his dad. Obviously, he's not really a surprise because he's been around for so long. But I don't know. There's been some. I think the guy Ty from Missouri has been so good, and he hasn't been hitting it great lately. But man, I love watching him play defense, and he's awesome. So for me, that's the guy, Wilmsmeyer. I just love how he plays. Hey, this team is so talented. It's like every game you want to say who's going to do something special today, and Coach talked about that a lot with all the depth that he has and all the different guys that he has. So it's awesome.
The McIntyre thing is that he leads the team in innings pitched. That's the surprise. It's just because he's doing it twice on a weekend, and I guess we wouldn't expect that a reliever, even 3 weeks in, has thrown the most innings of anybody on this team. But I think that tells you just how good he is right now. Basketball team gave some people a surprise on Saturday, Matt, with just how they went toe-to-toe with a Kentucky team that's got a lot to play for right now and couldn't stop them, but also, Hogs put up a season-high in points, and that was a fun game to watch. Must have been a fun game to call.
Yeah, it really was. It was exciting. There was a huge crowd, over 21,000 there. It was kind of like an old Kentucky crowd from the old days where it's packed. And an hour and a half before the game, all those Kentucky fans, all those kids, all the parents, they're just all around the Kentucky end of warm-ups, and they're just lined up trying to get photos, trying to get close to their players. Last year it wasn't like that as much, and they fell off a little bit. But they were back. It was an old Kentucky crowd, and then after the game, we could hardly do post-game. They were literally kids behind me. I mean, I could just barely reach behind me, and kids were leaning up against my chair. I would take stat sheets, Phil, and just barely hand them over my shoulder, and they would just grab them. I mean, they were like just trying to get anything that they could, and it was a great game, 111-2. Obviously, Arkansas, place has been to 6 Final Fours, won a national championship, been a national runner-up, won a lot of conference titles back in the day. Just losing a game is not great. You still want to win, but there was a lot of good stuff that came out of that game. I think this team has a lot of confidence right now. That was a pretty hostile environment. And to play like that and to get the offense clicking, and Kentucky was doing everything they could to play defense. It wasn't like they weren't trying. They were trying. They just had they've got Antonio Reeves is a very good player, fifth-year guy, but they play 5 freshmen all the time, a lot. And, I think our older, experienced guys were able to kind of take advantage of some of those talented. Those guys are going to be, a lot of those guys will be in the NBA. Those 5 freshmen from Kentucky, all 5 of them will be gone. And it was an entertaining game, and when we were up 10, no game's ever over till the final buzzer, especially today's basketball. But, boy, when we were up 9, I thought we were going to win the ball game, even when we were up 7. And even with about 4:45 to go, I looked up and said, we're still going to win this game. And Kentucky made big plays. They started attacking a little bit more. Dillingham, who didn't play against us the first game, we had a hard time staying in front of him. And then Edwards, who's not had a great season, but he's had a couple good games lately for them. He made a couple big steals, and he hit a big three-pointer, and then he hit a tough baseline shot, and they took control. But I know Coach was proud, and Arkansas is not a moral victory program, but that was a very good, hard-fought game, and should give this team confidence in going the rest of the way.
Coach, it's been fun watching Battle and Mark perform, and then just the Purple Patch Battle's been in. What does that do for the team when you're going out there and if we just do our thing that one of our guards can go off for 30 at any night?
Well, that's just a nice thing. There's not too many teams. I tell you, there's not anybody 14 and 15 in the country, 5 wins, 11 losses in the conference. They got 2 guys that if I told Matt Jones or Phil Elson, hey, this guy or this guy is going to score 35 Wednesday night against LSU, neither one of you would be surprised. You have 2 guys like that, Kamon Mark and Caleb Battle, and you have a whole lot of offense, and both those guys are capable. I do think it's the season. Hopefully, win a conference tournament, you go into the tournament. If not, then it's going to be some regret of the season. If it doesn't finish the way we need it to finish because of the talent that's here. The coaches brought in this talent. They've recruited this talent. It hadn't meshed as we all hoped it would. And even through, the fun game Saturday, at the end of the day, it ended up being a 9-point loss. And so at 14 and 15, no one with Razorback basketball is ever going to be happy or satisfied or feeling good about being 14 and 15 and 5 and 11. But this is a team. The conference got a lot of good teams, and it's a tight race at the top. And the Hogs need to kind of just handle their business here, try to win these last 2 games, help their seeding as much as they can. It would be really nice to get to the Thursday game as opposed to the Wednesday game, and then go to the conference tournament. We got an older team, and they should understand. Hey, we hadn't achieved what we thought this year, but here we have a chance in a 4-day window or a 5-day if it has to be. We just can't lose. We don't have to beat all 13 teams in the SEC next week, but we got to beat 4 or maybe 5 of them. And so you only got to worry about winning that game that day. That's easier said than done. But we got a lot of 24, 23, 22-year-old men, and I think they want to play in the NCAA tournament. That's got to be their mindset. And I know we hadn't had 4 good games in a row. We hadn't. So it'll be hard to do, but never say never, especially in basketball. Crazy stuff can happen.
We get the last home game of the season on Wednesday against LSU. They're in the same position that Arkansas is in, which they'll probably have to win the tournament in order to make it. But they're playing really well right now. I mean, they got wins over South Carolina on the road, Kentucky at home. Both those games, 1 run. In fact, they've won 3 games by 1 point out of the last 5 they've played. So they've been in some tight ones, and they've obviously defended well if they held Kentucky to 74 points.
LSU's been so good. It's really because the Vanderbilt transfers really played so well. Jordan Wright down the stretch, and people have had a hard time with him. He didn't play great when they beat us. They beat us by 21 at their place. But I think the win at South Carolina, that 64-63 game, that was a huge win for them. And they have had some really good wins. And then to beat Georgia in a kind of just a wild game as well, close, another game in the 60s. And I really thought they would lose to Vandy because Vandy was playing better. They just won in Bud Walton. Vandy was getting to go home. And I thought Vanderbilt would win at home against LSU, and it wasn't close. LSU just absolutely smacked them. And their coach, Matt McMahon, has done a good job. He's in year 2. I didn't know how he would be able to do there. And last year they weren't good. But this year he has done a very good job with LSU. That won't be an easy game. I do like the fact our guys should be extremely, extremely motivated because of, we were down 28 or 29 in that ball game. We played so poorly down in Baton Rouge early on a Saturday morning, and they should be motivated to beat LSU. And generally, the Hogs have done very well against LSU in Bud Walton Arena. They've only had a couple wins in here ever. So Hogs just got to, pull together here, have fun, and get a big win. And then you go to Alabama, who I think will be on a 2-game losing streak. They lost a heartbreaker to Tennessee at home. Now they got to go to Florida tomorrow night. Quick turnaround. I think Florida will beat Alabama. And then Senior Day, we're playing at 11 o'clock in the morning. Hey, you get no pressure. Go down there and try to pull the upset on Alabama.
Zim, last thing, and I'll let you go real quick with this. We introduced Christian, our fine show producer, to, as he told us, the 2 greatest albums he's ever listened to in his entire life, Led Zeppelin 1 and 2. What's an album that hit you in the face, just like these albums hit C Unit the first time you heard it?
I would say Garth Brooks' very first album in the late 80s, 1989, 90, when I was a senior in college. That boom. Number 1 for me, Garth Brooks. Loved it. Awesome. Sounds good. Don't get me wrong. I like some Michael Jackson Thriller, too, now. I'm old school. Matt Jones don't know anything about Thriller, but I do.
Thriller.
He's never heard of Michael Jackson. You're right. It's a way to introduce people to Michael Jackson. I hear good things about him. Appreciate you, Z. Thank you for.
Sorry I was late, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Coach.
Matt Zimmerman, the one and only, joining us on Halftime. The guy that he's now introduced you to Michael Jackson. Matt.
MJ, there you go.
It's great music. He's a great appreciator of fine music. Hey, when Zim's back on the air on Wednesday, Arkansas's playing LSU. You're going to find the absolute best odds for Arkansas and LSU on Bet Saracen. NFL, college football, NBA, Major League Baseball, table tennis, everything. Put money on a Bet Saracen app on your Apple iPhone, Google Android, or BetSaracen.com. And stay with Halftime.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn ever since I turned 40. I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text ENERGY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text ENRGY to 42424. That's ENERGY to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
In Arkansas, 7 out of every $10 placed on a sporting bet app is with Bet Saracen, because Bet Saracen offers more ways to win and more ways to get paid, and faster. Find your winners on Bet Saracen and look for my Double R prop bet specials. I pick them and you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Do you need an oil change but don't have time to drop off your car? S&J Express Lube will let you sit in your car while they do the work, and it only takes about 15 minutes with no appointment needed. Prices start at $35.99 for a 20-point inspection service. S&J Express Lube is open Monday through Friday 9 till 6 and Saturdays 8 till noon. You'll find them at 14818 Highway 71 South in Jenny Lind. Check them out on Facebook too. S&J Express Lube, your authorized Castrol dealer in Sebastian County. They are waiting on you now.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street at Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Need to lose 100 pounds this year? Don't restrict your diet. Forget joining a gym. Instead, lose the weight of that cheating spouse of yours. At Mock Legal Solutions, there is no hourly billing. You pay one flat fee for your decline, $15.05. And let's Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price.
Love and marriage, love and marriage.
Hi, this is Garen Armstrong with Shamrock Roofing and Construction. That small roofing company my father started 45 years ago has now become one of the largest roofing companies in America by following one rule, the golden rule. No one can install a better roof at a better price, a better warranty than Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Let our local family serve your family. Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Call today or visit us online at shamrockroofer.com.
Let's see. Leaky faucet Tuesday. Water flooding the yard. Better put that down for the middle of the month when the bills aren't due.
Honey, what are you doing?
Planning our plumbing problems, of course.
You can't plan our plumbing problems, but you should plan our plumber.
What do you mean?
Like all important contacts, I keep Westark Plumbing in my phone. They're always there when we need them, and they don't overcharge since they know we don't plan our plumbing problems. Here, honey, here's their number.
646-5151. Thanks, babe.
Westark Plumbing. We keep you flowing.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
What's going on, Father? I want you to know. My spirit's alive. I want you to know. I'm getting down with the arc of romance. I'm getting down with the style, yes. I'm getting down with the rumors in the back of the car. I'm getting down with it.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
So I was able to call a couple of fun baseball games, 2 basketball games that really weren't all that fun starting Thursday night. But I'm glad I wasn't on the call for this baseball game, Matt. Missouri and Northern Kentucky. In fact, it's 2 games, Saturday and Sunday. Mizzou, I never do the football thing. It was a football score. Missouri beat Northern Kentucky in a baseball game 28-10 on Saturday. How many football games do you see end 28-10? Happens all the time. Mizzou scored 14 runs in the first inning. I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite like that. The next day, Northern Kentucky wins 16-15. I know the wind was blowing in Fayetteville. It must have been howling in Columbia. Absolutely howling. Wasn't even all that many home runs. That's wild. I'm glad I wasn't watching that. But I did see some good baseball. What'd you watch over the weekend?
Well, there was some good soccer. Watched Darren Nunez squeak one out in the 99th minute. Saw Phil Foden get a brace, and Edward Howling had a goal. In the Manchester Derby, City got past United. Watched a little bit of Caitlin Clark, a little bit of that stuff going on. Watched a little bit of the LeBron James 40,000 point game. Saw 2 Boston Celtic games, and man, don't get me.
They took it to Golden State, didn't they?
Well, the 2 days before that, they did the same thing to Dallas. It's the difference between Golden State and Dallas is Golden State is just trying to make a play. They're not any good. Dallas now, they're supposed to be a top 4 team in the West with the trades they made and Kyrie Irving and Luka, what they're doing. So that was a little surprising. But you get on a road trip, you get on the last game of a road.
February 27th, they beat Philadelphia by 18 points, 117-99. Double digits over the Knicks, double digits over the Bulls. Absolutely wiped the floor with the Brooklyn Nets by 50 points. Beat them by 8 the day before that. 4-point win over they're beating the crap out of everybody, Matt.
They're fun to watch right now. I think that, Al Horford, I told you, I went to one Final Four before, and it was in Atlanta, and it was when Al Horford played for the Florida Gators, so years ago, and to see what he's doing, you keep thinking this year will be his last, but he's so smart. He makes the basketball play, and back to the other common theme that basketball is so much better because what this 2-man game that Jokic has, he just gets you on his back, and you just same thing with Luka. I talked about Luka being a below the rim player, not the quickest step, but he gets you moving. He gets you on his back, and he just keeps you there. If you're there, you can't do anything. Same thing with Joker. He does the same thing. You can't ever make him uncomfortable. You don't ever make him play faster than he wants to play. It's Luka and the Joker, they've been so fun to watch.
So as we mentioned, some of the teams that look like they're potentially unbeatable for now in the NBA, is anybody going to be able to beat Tennessee in the SEC? They go to Alabama and win that game and won it. It was a good game, but won it by 7 points. It's not like it came down with a buzzer or anything. They've handled Auburn recently. They've handled Alabama now. Now they get South Carolina and Kentucky to close out the season. I mean, that's a real gauntlet that they're walking through right now, but nobody in the SEC is playing any better than the fighting Rick Barnes.
Hey, there's only one team in the SEC that can get a number 1 seed, and that's Tennessee. So I think they control their own destiny. No question about it. Ziegler gets them going. Dalton Connect. Some are saying we didn't have enough time with Coach Z. We're kind of talking Arkansas basketball, but I wanted to find out who he thought the SEC Player of the Year is. He's seen them all play? Is Dalton Connect really the SEC Player of the Year? Has he been the surprise? But that dude has been he has just been the thing that so Arkansas played Tennessee, and the thing that I loved about his game was, who he guarded for the Hogs that game when Arkansas played Tennessee? He guarded Mark and Mark couldn't get going. Like, it was the fact that he could play defense as well and not pick up fouls. I was really impressed with his game, because it's both in
Tennessee holds them to 74. Really impressive. I mean, they've scored 100 points or more. Let's see. It happened against LSU, 109. 109 against LSU again, 100 against A&M, 103 against Ole Miss on the road, and they were held under 40% by Tennessee.
Lamont Parrish, Coach of the Year, SEC.
Hey, if you're picked last of the preseason poll, I don't care if the preseason poll doesn't mean anything.
You get a double
But in
bye.
that terms, I think you're going to probably get some votes, yes.
I think so.
The big turnaround, man. It's a huge turnaround.
I think he
Stop in Central Hydraulics and see us at Sharp Equipment, located at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith, or give us a call at 479-242-1406.
When you need legal help, turn to the law offices of Craig L. Cook. With over 40 years combined experience, the Cook Law Team works for you. If you've been injured in an auto accident, hurt on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help with bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
Flu vaccines, both regular and high dose for seniors, are now available at Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith. Call 452-6116 to schedule your shot appointment. Usually there is no cost when covered by your insurance. Law's Drug has COVID vaccines, RSV vaccines for ages 60 plus. Pneumonia and tetanus shots are also available. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. I want to talk about their pizza today. The Goob Special with extra pepperoni and rib rub on top. The Parm Special with double mushroom and jalapenos. Don't forget about the bacon cheeseburger and everyone's favorite, the old trash can. Swing on by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Or give them a call at 479-783-9941. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Got a pest? Call West. If you have pest or termite problems in your home, call West today and learn how their 50 years combined experience can help solve your problems with competitive pricing and quality services, all designed with your pets and children in mind. Call today and schedule your free estimate. They even offer Saturday services and long life attic pest control. Call 782-7291. West Termite and Pest Control, protecting your home health and peace of mind.
Are you tired of the overcrowded fitness centers? Would you like a fitness option where you can actually work out? Then let's hang out. The Hangout is Fort Smith's newest fitness facility. It has an 8,000 square foot gym, indoor tennis, pickleball, and basketball with more sports coming soon. The Hangout offers group and individual training in the gym and boasts 3 active tennis pros to help you grow your game. Stop in today at 5400 Gary Street or thehangoutfs.com for more information. Be a part of something different. Fitness, sports, and more. Let's hang out.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Beautiful eyes, long drive. Beautiful eyes, girl. Beautiful eyes, setting fall, coming out. This girl, taking my life off the wall. You look at me, uh-huh.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Well, I love when you see evidence that even though some people work inside the same building, they do not necessarily share information with each other. Foley Fatukasi is a defensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars, had his 29th birthday on Monday. And the Jaguars social media team, as a lot of teams will do, wished him a happy birthday on their Twitter account. Happy birthday, 94. Got a nice photo of him, his headshot, and got his name there, got an HBD. They cut him later on in the day.
Happy birthday.
According to Jeremy Fowler, they cut him later in the day, which obviously means that it's no surprise. Football operations and social media do not share information with each other. That's good stuff. Really good stuff. Here is some good stuff. So Alabama and Ole Miss had a men's basketball game at the Ole Miss Pavilion last Wednesday. I get to the pavilion yesterday to set up the radio equipment for the Arkansas Ole Miss women's basketball game. And there were still pieces of popcorn all over the press area. I don't think anybody cleaned up inside the Ole Miss Pavilion. Maybe they did up in the seating area, but they didn't on the floor because there was still popcorn left over from the last game that was played. You know what else was left over too? This is true evidence that nobody cleaned the press area or where the broadcaster set up. And they've actually now at Bud Walton Arena, they have placed a sticker over by the broadcast area that tells us it's trying to remind us to pick up after ourselves and not leave a mess, which tells me that someone was leaving a mess at some point. I guess it must have been Chris Stewart. You know, he does the basketball broadcast for Alabama on the radio. His coffee cup was still there. It was a Yeti coffee cup, white and gray coffee cup. I knew it was his because it's got the Alabama Crimson Tide logo on it with the elephant jumping through the A. And the coffee and the cream from Wednesday was still inside the cup. This was yesterday. This was like 3-4 day old coffee and cream that was just sitting inside this Yeti that was sitting there where Chris had left it on Wednesday. It doesn't jibe with me because if you ever walk around the Ole Miss campus, it's gorgeous. Like it is manicured. There's probably, if you were to throw a toothpick on the ground there, somebody's going to come over and sweep it up right in front of you. Nobody does that near the press area. And no, I did not take the Yeti or drink the coffee. Yuck.
So speaking of C movie, but Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Leo DiCaprio's character, he's sitting out there and he's eating his chicken wing, and he just throws it. So that's just how we're living these days. We don't have to clean up after ourselves. We just throw it on the ground.
That's exactly right. Someone else will take care of it, or not. Just leave it there. I looked inside. Like I looked inside. It was one of the clear tops to the coffee mug, and I looked inside. It was like the drink is still in there. A part of me wanted to open up the mug and just see how much hair was on top of the coffee, but I didn't do that. I guess that's a sign of maturing a little bit. Clean up after yourself, or remember your coffee mug. I could have taken that thing with me. I could have given it to Chris whenever we go play Alabama in Tuscaloosa for baseball, which I think is early April. But I didn't do that. I didn't do that.
Little souvenir cup. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It would be the only thing I'd like to remember from yesterday's game. It would be the absolute only thing that I'd want to remember from yesterday's game. All right. That's a Monday halftime for you. If you missed anything, the Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast has all the highlights and the lowlights as well, which includes our talk with Matt Zimmerman and our talk with Mike Irwin. And Ruskin and Zach are ready to take you for the next few hours. And we're with you tomorrow for another award-winning edition of Halftime on a Tuesday with Chuck Barrett, with Bill King, and with Alyssa Orange. Great stuff, guys. Good to be back with you, and looking forward for the rest of the week. For Matt Jones, for the C Unit, I'm Phil. Thanks for listening. That's Halftime. Get up, get out, and get better.